Hello out there to the people in the Splinterlands verse. Baby Omega and I are here today to talk about the town hall and maybe anything else that just comes up. The chat could also bring some ideas here for us, and so hopefully it'll just be a fun little discussion. Go ahead and say hi to everybody.
Hi guys, and thanks for being with us, whoever is here. And yeah, we had a fun little short but sweet town hall today, and we're going to go through it. I mean, we couldn't miss the chance of going live after a math hall, right? So there's that.
Yeah, I have to admit, it was a little disappointing that it was kind of quick. Matt didn't get a whole lot of time to talk. Um, he kind of glossed over his proposal really quickly, given he made the obvious point that, like, as much as I don't like it, with land surfing probably coming, it's needed. And he did point out with the voucher discount it's not as expensive as it looks, which is something I have to remember. So I'm probably going to leave my no vote, but it's probably going to pass.
Yeah,
um,
it's looking like it's passing for for the time being. As I
yeah,
told you,
and if it gets close, I might switch my vote because I think it's necessary. But right now, I'm just kind of voting no in protest because we were told we would use those cards for free, and then they invented this land surfing thing. And land surfing, while it sounds super cool, it can be exploited by bots if they're allowed to use free cards to earn. So you have to put that expense into the game. Um, and when I look at the prices that it's charging with the discount, it is still cheaper than buying cards for the most part of equal PP. Um,
yeah.
and I wasn't really planning on putting many cards onto the land anyways, but now I'll have to figure out, if I what I want to do, because I'll have to spend that money if I want to do it. So that's kind of an interesting thing.
Well, I was hoping. I mean, I also voted no based on our discussions, but I mean, I got your point, so I voted no. But in a hope that if this one doesn't pass after all, they'll make one whether we should not use soulbound cards on land at all, which is what I would be more in favor of. I mean,
Yeah, that'd be interesting. You could, if you threw that one out now, like if you got some people that wanted to chip in and you put in that proposal, the relatively simple one, you might be able to get people to vote no on Matt's and yes on yours if more people just agree that um, they would just rather see him not allowed on land. Of course, I
well,
don't know if that's harder to do or not, but I'm assuming they have a way to prevent them if the only way you can do it is by unlocking them. So I guess it wouldn't be hard to just say they
I
can't be
don't think should be
unlocked.
hard. I mean, if they can have ways to determine whether a gladiator card can be played or not, which is soulbound, I think since they share the same attributes of not being actual NFTs, probably it's not that really hard to do. But yeah, what I'm thinking, my thought was if at all there'll be restrictions on soulbound, it should be like we just don't better don't use it at all. And when it's time to unlock them. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, as I said in the beginning, I was kind of whatever on this proposal. Anything goes. I won't be disappointed either way, no matter how it goes. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah. I think that I won't be mad if it passes. I'm a little disappointed that we spent all this time earning them. That I spent a little bit of extra money trying to earn extra ones. I probably wouldn't have done that if I had known early on you'd have to pay to unlock them.
Oh, but Jim,
Um,
we knew, man.
no, but to pay to unlock them on land, because a
Oh,
few town halls ago they asked if gladiators and soulbound cards could be used on land, and the initial answer was yes. They said, yeah, they're your cards. You should be able to use them on your land. And so it was a very solid yes, you could do it. And people seem
yeah.
to forget that they said that. And I admit things they say on the town hall are not law, But I mean, this isn't the kind of thing that was posted anywhere or codified anywhere until this vote came up. So the assumption going into this by anybody who watches the town halls is I get to use my extra cards on land if I own land, you know. But now they added in a whole new caveat because there's a way to play land without owning land, and that's what makes it breakable by the bots.
Yeah.
Because if you had to own land too, I wasn't going to care if a bot owner invested in a couple hundred lands to put a couple hundred of his accounts onto, because then he had to buy the land, he had to buy the DEC, he had to pay the money to do it and invest the time to clear them. And if he was doing all of that with low level free soulbound cards, it would take a long time just to even clear the plot, let alone, you know, start earning from it. And they'd still be locking up that DEC and those cards, and land would still be doing what it's supposed to do. But now that they can just land surf, and sure, they do have to lock up the cards in DEC, but they don't have to buy the land. So it
Yeah.
doesn't support the price of land, right? Because people don't have to buy it anymore to play the game. So that maybe that's the one downside to land surfing is
Well, to be
that
honest, I don't care about not supporting the price of land, because the price of land, in my opinion, supports itself as land being limited, and this being only just 1.5. And with everything that Matt said today, the 50 resources and whatnot, I got really excited, man. It's looking good in my mind. I think that will be a big hit once it comes. I know it will be a while, but I like his vision and where things are heading.
yeah, listening to him talk, do you still think 200 lands is going to be enough for me to do stuff by myself?
Yeah,
Now that it's like you
as I
need
said,
50 different resources and you need places to refine them. So I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to be that easy to I think I'm going to have to overproduce the stuff that my land is good at making and
yeah,
look to
but
do
that's what I'm
swapping.
saying. It's self-sufficient in a way, not that you don't need to interact with anybody, but what you're making in excess, you can just swap for what you're lacking, and you can definitely make items and spells. It's just like you don't need to own every single resource. You just need to those 200 plots will allow you to earn enough of the things that they're producing, so you can swap the extras and get what you're missing, and be totally fine with getting your items and spells up and running.
Yeah, and without a doubt, I'll see. I'll see. I still think I might be a little bit short with only 200, based on the scope of things, but maybe I'll be able to make spell cards and equipment cards and whatnot. But should we talk a little bit about the SPS staking requirement going live today,
We can talk
since that's
whatever
at
you
the
want to
top of
talk.
this?
I'm fine with it. I mean, that's obviously that's the big news, so might as well.
Yeah, like this went live today. So far, the system seems to be working well. Hey, Vozana is here. Thank you for coming and checking out with us. We're not going
Yeah.
to do a second show every week, but when they have a weird town hall in the middle of the week, then we have a reason to do one. Or if some other big news comes out or something, then occasionally we can do this.
Yeah. It's
Um,
not something regularly.
yeah, and I did officially quit my Sunday show on
Oh, you did?
Splinterlands TV. Yeah, so this Sunday is going to be my last show for Splinterlands TV in the morning.
Uh-huh.
I did mention you to Rondon that you wanted the hour. I don't know if he'll give it to you or if because or not, but he should be
Yeah.
announcing that that hour is up for grabs
Up for
relatively
grabs,
soon.
yeah. Oh
Um,
well, I'll miss you before me.
yeah, you know, it just came down to the fact that like to be honest, after this Sunday, I couldn't do the next two Sundays. And I started to realize like I have to have people fill in a lot for me on that stream, and it's if you can't commit to the time frame, I don't think you should keep it because so many people want it. So I'm gonna let somebody else take it. I am gonna watch, and if a Thursday night like tonight opens up, or if a Friday night opens up, then I might try to pick up one of those slots and do like a Wednesday and a Thursday or a Wednesday and a Friday. So I'm still on twice a week,
Yeah.
but We'll have to see because those spots are all full for now, and I'll have to see if anybody's stepping away.
Well, I mean, with the amount of players leaving the game, I won't be surprised if it happens.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But that was a little bit off topic. So far, SPS staking to me, it's been pretty decent. I had to go into my accounts and I had to delegate some SPS to my smaller accounts. I gave 15,000 to my account that plays in silver and gold,
So
and I
did I.
gave 5,000 to my account that plays in silver. The 5,000 for the one in silver is pretty good because he only plays in silver too, and so he's at like a pretty good earning. I think if I go to my account, yeah, he's at like 11.6.
Yeah.
But the other one that's only got the 15,000 plus he has like 1,000 of his own, and he's playing in silver one instead of silver three, silver two, and he's going into gold three. When he gets up into like gold three, he's going to be down to like a five. And
Yeah.
so
Well,
I'll have to get some more SPS. And the point of me explaining that is that it's doing what I think people want. It's making people like me need to go get more SPS.
and not only also is making people have to consider staking SPS because I was going through the games that Archmage has played for me out of curiosity to see how much other people are earning when they're beating me. And now I usually, when I'm watching the battles from my Archmage, I'm usually watching only the wins because I mean I don't like to watch myself lose, and if I see it's a lose, I usually don't watch it. But now I do because now I have another enjoyment when I go and I like yeah for my last battle for example on the no that's the gold account. 1 second. I want to go over to my account to check because it was kind of funny. Was it the last battle?
I'm trying to play a
Okay.
quick game while you were talking, but
Yeah,
it's not working because I have to like move this thing around to try to find
I
a
came upon
card.
two or three people from TNA Legion 1 and 2, the Dwayne's Guild, like my last 5, 6 battles. They're all in Champion. Almost none of them has own any cards, and obviously they don't stake much SPS neither because one was having 1.3x, the other was 1x, and this last one was 3.26x. So it's like sure mine is only 814, but yeah, at least I'm getting more. It's obviously was that 18% less than what I was earning before, but I can take that hit when I compare it with like overall what I'm seeing people earning when they're fighting me. That that comes to tell me that actually I'm a pretty good shape compared to the others in champion, and I'm most likely going to focus on diamond one because I can earn champion chests in diamond one, and I won't be getting hits because I have enough for diamond one. For champion already I'm lacking some, so I see which makes more sense, but it will be a couple of months of experimenting for me. For you it's easy, you see that you have what is required, so for you it's not really nothing changing. Probably
Yeah,
we gonna start
I mean
earning more.
things are changing a little bit I think for everyone because we're needing to get more SPS, and the thing that it's going to change too, and this is something that you can see happening, is that a lot of people over time are going to start to see their earnings go up if they have enough, and the earnings are going to seem a lot lower if you don't have enough. And when you start earning like maybe half as many chests as you used to, earning less SPS than you used to, and then you see SPS at this cheap price, the hope is you'll go ahead and pull the trigger on buying some and staking it and investing into your account. And I know I've bought just around 5,000 SPS over the last couple days, and I hadn't bought really any before because I didn't need to, because I was a player with a big account that got a lot of it airdropped to me, so I hadn't needed to buy it before today,
Yeah.
or the last couple days getting ready,
It
as
was
this
all the
was
same.
getting
Yeah.
ready
It
for
didn't
this.
didn't give you any advantage. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice because I know that's the way it's going to be for a lot of people, and so it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic and how it changes. Um, the price of SPS, what happens with SPS. It gives us a chance to finally see if we can get SPS on its own with its own use case and ability to go up. And it definitely is going to be one of those things that is maybe going to upset some people, but it's like, I hope that we can, as a community, be willing to invest in your own account if you plan to keep playing the game over the next year. See that, like, hey, I might as well, make the investment, stake the SPS. I don't have to spend it, I get to stake it. And if everybody else is doing that, the price is going up. And so hopefully in that situation, we see this start to turn around. You think I can win this
Yeah.
one?
No. Are you up? If you're up, yeah, you can.
Yeah, I'm blue. I think I'm gonna hold on. I saw that my timer is ending in an hour, and I'm really close to 4 chess guys. So sorry, I'm playing some matches in the background while we talk, because I think if I just win one more, I need to win one more, and I get another chest.
Go ahead, go for it.
But But yeah, I mean, I like it. I don't know if anyone in the chat, we got a few people with us. You want to let us know what you think of the SPS staking? Are they asking a little too much of you? Is it okay? You don't think it's a big problem? It's kind of an interesting thing to wonder. I don't know where everybody's mind's going to be. There might be some people that think this is a bit too much.
Well, I mean, see, obviously, all those people that I mentioned earlier probably they won't be happy anymore because they were used to not putting anything into the game, just renting good cards that they can compete in champion with, taking home all the rewards, and what's done is done. And now it's not the case anymore. So obviously there'll be people that are not happy, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I mean, we cannot make it so everybody is happy, but I think it's fair. So for me, that's what matters.
Wow, this card
Yeah,
is destroying me.
it's a good card.
That
Yeah,
was very interesting to see a Possibilist deck there.
yeah.
Um, is 400 RP a lot? Let me see. How much did I earn when I won? I forget what's good for silver. Like, was 400 RP good, or did that person have under leveled cards? Let me check on the game I won, because obviously I'm getting full credit because I'm at an 11 on the
Skip to
multipliers.
rewards.
So yeah, sorry. No, see, and I got 1200 on my win. So, I mean 2000. So I got 5 times what that person got for winning when it comes to points towards earning chess. So
Yeah,
that person's going to have to win 4 matches to my 1 match to equal my rewards.
it might
Like
be
four and a
people.
half.
People might still not be like. Either they have it like automatically played, or they're not really aware how much it hurts them. Because as I said, I'm playing people that are barely earning anything, and
Yeah.
I guess they'll have two options. They either leave or buy SPS.
All right, we'll come back to that match. But, I think that whole thing, they rolled it out. They told us it was coming. It's going to affect the game. Let's look on Splinter cards. Let's see if
I'm
SPS is
happy.
still.
I'm honestly happy that they implemented this. Even though it hurts me, I'm happy. Maybe I'm a masochist.
Yeah, look, and SPS is still holding point. It was 1.8. Now it's 1.83.
It
So
had
it's.
even reached. I when I was checking tribal decks earlier, I saw it peaked to about 2 cents and then dropped down after that.
Yeah, and we have to remember that, like, while we're this low, 1 cent moves are kind of big, because if you did a big investment, like you put $1,000 into SPS when it was like 1.5 cents and it went up to 2 cents, that's a 50% gain. Your
Yeah,
1,000 became 1,500. So you're going to think about taking profit there and selling some. So it is going to be kind of expensive, expected to hit like 2 cents, go down a little, go
Yeah.
up to 2.5 cents, come down a little as people start to maybe try to trade this token. I actually think, and I'm going to do a separate video about this on my own in the next day or two, that SPS and DEC, these tokens right here, could be one of the biggest investment opportunities for outside capital, and people are just ignoring it. And the reason I'd say that is because it wouldn't take that many big investors to come in and decide to take a position in DEC, and add it to like liquidity pools, because you can earn, like, you could put it into the ETH BNB, or you could put it into the ETH DEC or the ETH BNB pools, and you can earn a pretty good percentage with a stable coin against a really good asset for the bull run, either BNB if you like Binance, or Ethereum if you're an Ethereum person, right? And then by you
Yeah.
taking that big stake in DEC, you help support get it to peg. Then you buy yourself a big chunk of SPS. You keep taking some of those profits you're earning and pumping the price of DEC. Assuming you can do this, you kick off that flywheel and you watch your SPS bag possibly moon as land goes out. It's actually an investment I'm thinking about moving some money into.
And so do
Um,
Vozena.
yeah, and it looks like Vozana is too. But I mean, as more of a trade, so it would be stuff that I leave more liquid, ready to take profit out of as things start to go up. Because um, what I can see is if this narrative can start to take hold in the play to earn ecosystem, or on the Ethereum or the BSC ecosystem, if we can get anybody to start paying attention that, hey, did you like Luna, and did you like the way that Luna price went up from almost nothing to $100? Well, SPS is about to do the same thing, but unlike Luna, it can't fall back down the same way. It can't
Yeah, it has
be.
protection in place. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the wheel, our flywheel only works one way. The Luna flywheel worked both ways, so people could mint more Luna to dump the price. People can't mint more SPS. Hey,
Yeah.
Ink, it's good to see you, and thank you so much for reminding people to smash the like. And you've been supporting us on our when we share these on Hive, so I appreciate that. And I wanted to give a quick shout out. We're not the best YouTubers, or at least I'm not. I always forget to tell people to subscribe or to like. But
It's okay. I mean, we do it for the fun of it.
I
So
know, but
subscribe or like if you want. We don't care, to be honest, but we appreciate it.
but like it's going to be pretty wild to see, as we start just naturally needing more SPS to play the game. If some investors catch on to this flywheel opportunity to come in, and there are people that have thousands of dollars to put into something and see the opportunity, maybe I'm going to put $10,000 into DEC and $10,000 into SPS, and I'm just going to and then I'm going to take some of my Ethereum I'm having, these are people with decent sized bags, and put it into the liquidity pool with the DEC and just hold the SPS. Then you're kind of forcing DEC to hit peg, and you're forcing SPS to get burned at a time when a lot of us need to get more and want to get more. And so even if you're not a buyer, you might not be a seller anymore. You might start staking what you earn, and not selling it. And so
But
we
you were
could
talking about
see.
outside capital.
Yeah, I'm talking about outside capital actually catching on. And that's why I want to make the videos, and I want to talk to some of the other people out there to let them know that they're Splinterlands has a flywheel. It's similar to the Luna setup, but it's more protected. It has the ability to ramp up very quickly, and go up, and we're sitting at only 2 cents. The wheel could fly and push SBS up to like 10 cents or 20 cents, and then you're talking about quick 5-10x gains. And if it somehow pushed harder, if enough outside capital started playing this game and wanted to keep coming in and doing big DEC buys because they knew it was going to push their SPS bag things could get very interesting. And I think this is why one of the reasons why Matt is so bullish on the SPS DEC flywheel, because he saw the way Luna went from $1 to like what, like $300 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it was wild what the ability of that coin to be burned to mint stable coins. That
Different times though.
Yeah, but the mechanic was very similar. You
No,
could
I do understand, but what I'm
you
saying is the
burned Luna
price,
to
the
mint
pr- the price.
UST, and you staked UST to earn 20%, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can right now. Well, let's see. Did I win? Yay, I won. So I got my fourth chest. You can come over here to these pools, and it's a little different because you could just stake a stable coin and earn 20%. But you can stake SPS with BNB and earn 39%. You can stake DEC with DAI. That's only 11% though, so that one's not maybe that same thing as the 20% you could get with UST.
Sorry.
You can do DEC and SPS at 23%. And I think I'm oops, I got our pictures over the DEC BUSD, which is at 12. And if DEC is at peg, if this is up 20%, then this APR is going to go up a little bit. And if SPS starts going up, this could very easily be the very same thing that Terra Luna did, where you're going to have staking a stable coin with a stable coin earning 20 to 25% while you're causing the other asset that increases your APR to get burned. And it's an amazing thing, but can we make outside money see this? Would outside money, would some of the big whales on BSC that made all that money in Luna and the Luna flywheel start to see that we have the same flywheel over here?
My
Yeah,
my
and
point was that yeah, I agree with that, but on the price point, I was saying different times because also at this time when Luna was like around $300, IOV the Illuvium token was 1,700. Now it's $41. So it's just like different times, and I'm
yeah,
sure
and
if we start seeing some movement in SPS, that will more likely attract eyes on the project than people just watching videos. I'm just thinking that people are constantly looking at charts one way or another, and even if something looks promising, they're not touching it until they see actually most of them until they see actually starting to move up and trying to catch the wave. And I do agree with you. It's a great opportunity. It's just like so is Hive. I mean, Hive has been one of the probably most useful blockchains around
yeah,
with
but
everything
but
that it offers, and still haven't picked up.
But Hive has its own issues, right? For starters, there's the downvote system. There's the clubs inside of Hive. If you're not in the right club, or if you post about the wrong thing, you don't earn quite as much. Hive does have a 20% staking mechanism built into it for for its HBD, but then
Yeah.
you have to trust HBD. Um, as opposed to trusting BUSD and DEC. It might be, you know, and there's no flywheel to Hive, right? There's no automatic burning of Hive to
No, my
to
point
to
was totally different. It's
to
just
pump the price.
the blockchain itself. I'm not talking about the ways of earning and ways of investment potential. Just as a blockchain, a usefulness like the speed, the cost, everything, and it's as far as I know, like at least 90% uptime it has. If any downtime, I'm sure it has at least 90%
Oh,
of
yeah,
uptime.
I love the Hive blockchain. I'd
Yeah,
love to
and
see it catch on more, and I think that during a bull run, it'll easily move up to being worth a couple dollars per Hive like it has in the past. I just think that it's a unique opportunity to buy SPS at under 2 cents and possibly get ready for this flywheel to go, because there's going to be some kind of DAO proposal passed to help pump DEC. It might be Bulldogs barely failed. We have another one already in the pipe. There'll
Yeah.
probably be another one that comes as well, because this one is kind of, it's much less aggressive. I talked with a lot about that on my last Splinterlands TV. That the one that I think it's Holozor put out. It only puts a small amount of buy pressure on DEC. It's about 4,000 a month compared to $500,000 being unlocked to buy it all within 1 month if we really wanted to.
Yeah.
So it's a much more slow approach, but it's built for the long term, and it's meant to
Yeah, it's more
slowly
conservative. Yeah.
diversify the DAO. Have you read his proposal?
Yeah, it's more conservative, just
Yeah,
buying DC with the
with the
profits from
interest.
HDD. Yeah, interest.
Yeah.
Uh,
So it ends up being about $4,000 a month.
but since you scratched that topic, did you have you figured out that we became famous already?
No,
People are taking ideas from our show.
no. Why do you say that? Who stole our ideas?
No, it's not stealing. It's just something we talked about. Gave Tails some.
Oh, he mentioned us. Yes, I did
Yeah.
see that.
What do you think
But
about his theory?
oh, so his theory that the reason that they shot down Bulldog's proposal because they don't want SPS to moon yet, because
They
if
want to accumulate, yeah.
they want to, you know, I could see it a little bit, possibly, but I don't think that those whales are that interconnected. I don't think that they're that close that they're working together like that.
Yeah,
Um,
no matter how many tinfoil hats I put, it just
I mean,
sounds
I
like
honestly think the only reason that they voted no for Bulldogs, because they've already said that they're willing to vote for the new one, is because his was like a shotgun approach as opposed to a BB gun. And he wanted to take all that money and pretty much be ready to literally buy 500 million DEC. And they don't want to see the DAO lose all those funds, not have them all disappear. And there's a reason to hold stable coins. I joked around on Splinterlands TV. What if they wanted to hire me to do videos? And
that.
I wouldn't want to take DEC because I'd want to get paid, and I'd want,
You sure you wouldn't
I'd
want
want a
to get?
stable coin. Now, maybe I would take DEC because I need it for my land, me
Yeah,
particularly. But what if they actually wanted to hire somebody like Kagi, or the guy, some of the more famous gaming YouTubers, the Brysons,
I don't know
the
them.
guys that have, hundreds of thousands of viewers, to start promoting land when it comes out? Those guys are going to want payment, and if you give
Like
them the payment,
Alistraza?
and well, I would say that Ali Strasza is different. She's a Twitch streamer, and she's a Hearthstone player.
No,
That,
she's YouTube. She has YouTube as well.
yeah, I know, but she was more of a Twitch personality. Her YouTube doesn't do as well as her Twitch.
Okay.
And they went to her because she was a card game player. I think that's the wrong thing to do. Um, I mean, I was okay with it at the time, but it didn't seem to work. Oh yeah, I like Crypto Stash. That would work
Crypto
too. And
Stash, yeah.
that's a good one to bring up. That Ank. And I kind of know him a little bit, so that would be interesting. But um, the idea is actually go to guys who would look at the tokenomics of the game more than just the game, because Splinterlands as a game, just a game, it appeals to some people, but it's a much more of a niche, right? It's more into people that like chess, that like other kind of card games, like poker, in general, that kind of gamer, not the guys who play Fortnite, not the guys who play the other Blizzard games. Most of her fans, they were Blizzard fans because they were watching Hearthstone, and they got into Hearthstone because they probably used to play WoW, they probably used to play Warcraft and things like that.
Yeah.
And so, oh, Ank's in Crypto Stash's guild. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I forgot that he even had a guild within
I
Splinterlands.
was
He
going to
does
say
talk about
he's streaming.
Splinterlands sometimes, but still,
He's
the
doing
overall point is I think that those guys would be more comfortable with any plan that leaves a decent amount of stable coins in the DAO. And this new plan, I think, leaves 250,000 in the DAO stable, ready to be used to hire a crypto stash, to hire a digital artist, to hire Baby Omega, or
No,
or anybody
I'm
else.
not for hire. I already am committed.
But still, so there's a reason to keep cash around. But it's also putting some of that cash into a savings account with a high yield in HBD form. So it's like a much more slow, stable approach to pushing the price of DEC up in the long term. And then like maybe one of us could do a follow up proposal that said, hey, take 50,000 of that 250 you have left and just buy DEC to pump the price.
Well, I mean, on your
But
point, you heard because Matt addressed that question as well. He said, "Yeah, we can hire a couple of guys, but it won't really do much. Like with the money, the DAO doesn't have
I
that
don't
that
mean
much
really
money."
for the team. I wouldn't have the DAO hire a graphic artist for the team. I was more joking around the idea like maybe we could pay somebody $40,000 to produce one episode of an animated Splinterland series, and then we could post that up on the Splinterland's YouTube channel. And if it got enough views, we have them continue the series, and then Splinterlands has an animated series that maybe people are watching to bring them more into the game. Not like hire someone to go work for Splinterlands. It's more like
Yeah, but when you look at
independent
it,
little projects.
at 80 cents at the moment DEC, it's almost instant 20% income, like 20%. Um, yeah, exactly, income for the DAO, because if they if the DAO starts buying those, I think it will be very short time
It's
until we
kind of
reach
though
the
because
peg.
you'd have to sell it very slowly, not to hurt the economy. You wouldn't want the
Yeah, well,
DAO
I mean,
to be a whale
when
that dumps on us.
when DC dries up, it dries up, man. That's it. I mean, once it happens, it happens. Like there are very
Yeah, but
few.
if the DAO is holding hundreds of millions of DEC, that's a lot that they could flood back into the market. Given we'd have to vote to do that, but still, it'd have to be done right, or things could be a little messy. But you're right. Once it dries up, it dries up. That's why I think this is such a unique opportunity, and I do think that it's that we need to spread the word outside of look, you don't need to play Splinterlands for me to convince you that the flywheel is the same as the Luna wheel that got them a 300x. It's about to get SPS a 300x. This is the way that it all works. You can stake your coins in stable coins and earn 12% now, but it's going to be 20% later when SPS starts to pump. And you can just come here and play the DeFi game. You don't have to touch the card game because it
Yeah,
is
and
it is a
it
DeFi platform, right? We have farms. This is no different than Pancake Swap's farms or EMP Money's farms or Goose Finance back in the day. These percentages in a bear market of 38% and 39% and 23 and 37, those are not terrible. They're not the Deegan brand new farms that are like 1,000% and those sites blow up in like 3 days. But
yeah.
these are, if you went and looked at like Curve or Beefy or any of those more established places, they don't have payouts much bigger than this. And I think that now is the time to get them to start looking at it, because we're reaching the point where SBS is finally going to stop going down because it doesn't look good to come into farms to earn an asset that's only heading down. But if the asset finally gets its use case in the game and it starts to turn around because of SPS staking, and we get the flywheel to finally start going because LAN 1.5 comes out and we have burning of SPS on top of it, then all of a sudden, when that asset is going up, these farms start to look crazy.
Yeah, it's probably at this point it will be easier for you to convince somebody to come for the economic part of the game than for the gameplay itself, because the stage the game is at, um, because of everything they have to pull out before they start to actually focusing on gameplay and different modes and whatnot. Probably at the moment, yeah, it's easier to bring investment just as a
It's
DeFi.
speculation. Yeah,
Yeah,
DeFi guys who are chasing big wins.
yeah.
Because if they're like, obviously, I'm no, this isn't financial advice, guys, but
No,
if there's a
it's not.
token that I think has a chance to 20x in the near future, it's SPS. Because
Are you
I
sure it's
do
not?
think it could go up to like 40 cents in the next 6 months because we hit the flywheel and we start burning it, and the staking isn't decreased too quickly, and people just don't sell it because they're earning it from playing the game, so they leave it staked, and maybe they start to sell what they earn. But as long as that isn't at a crazy amount and the burn is constantly going on because land is still growing, people are buying more DEC, they're buying up the monsters to level them up and try to get more of that stuff working. Because, I mean, how popular is the land game going to be if it's SPS is going up and things are pretty fire? Now, the only way it could push into like the $1, $2, $3 range for the 150x or more is they're mostly talking about Ali in chat.
Yeah, well, I mean, sorry for
And
bringing her up. I
yeah,
mean,
but the only way that happens is if people who don't play the game um it's come into the ecosystem to just play with this flywheel and play with the crazy farms it will create. Because if SPS, if you earn SPS in this farm, when it's 2 cents it's 12%. When it's 40%, this farm is like 60%, and these farms are like 200% farms.
and now imagine those farms that you're looking. Imagine 50 resources each with their own farm once 2.0 comes out. That's a whole new level of DeFi market or
Yeah,
like ways
so
to earn.
I think we should talk about the DeFi story because we don't talk about it enough. And Aaron's making great points in the chat, but I don't know if I want to say them on the stream. No, I'm just joking. But the because because the guys who are willing to put thousands of dollars into projects like this are going to be come from people that see these percentages, see them start to go up, and think, maybe I should get involved in this DeFi system over here. And then you're right. If they're still here and things are popping off and Land 1.5 comes out and they start to see those farms and what those do to the ecosystem, then it could be pretty wild. But you do need, I think, because when people were able to buy DEC and hold it to get SPS during the airdrop, there were people who came in who didn't play the game, who
I know.
registered an account, just bought a bunch of DEC and just collected free SPS,
Yeah.
right? They never bought a card. They never touched the game. And that was how that token got to being worth 10 times what it should be worth. It was absolutely crazy.
And yeah, that's a good point too. That people throwing 4 or 5 digits in those stupid Web2 games, like where they earn nothing and they don't even own their assets. Like the moment the company likes, oh, we don't like, we're going to ban your account. So say bye bye to your investment and you're done.
I don't understand Tails' comment. He wants to be a janitor for a company that owns no property and has no need to have things cleaned. Is that referring to land surfing? Maybe.
Or maybe
Tails, I
people,
need more. I need more info. That was an interesting comment. It caught my eye.
maybe people that invest nothing and want to just earn.
Oh, okay. That may be. Yeah, he could be maybe talking about that.
They own no cards, but they want to earn without putting any effort.
Okay, but okay. What else did they talk about in the town hall?
Oh, in the town
Rift
hall, I thought
Watchers
in the
for
chat.
DEC is live. Let's go see. Has that moved Rift Watchers?
Oh, it is live already? Oh, it will move them.
Yeah,
I'll
it
make
went
sure.
live. It went live today. So
Yeah, I was most of the day I was out, so yeah, I haven't checked, but oh yeah, I will move them. I'll move it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Maybe like a couple thousand packs. Because I feel like this was 1 million, like 19,000, and now it's 27,000.
Well, I mean,
So that's nice. That's what we because I feel like I couldn't see the bar, and now I can.
I
So
think it was.
one
I'm.
thing that Matt did mention in the town hall though that I thought was very interesting, he talked about burning these.
Yeah, I heard that in between the lines. He just mentioned it like briefly, but
Yeah, because he wanted something to speed up the airdrop schedule, and then to force people to have to go ahead and you know
feel the pressure of having the
yeah, feel the
back
pressure.
there.
Like I have to come and get these, and so that should be pretty exciting to hopefully see. Maybe some action come into this, but at least to finally see the air cards, these go out. Though it'd be interesting since the DAO owns these, we'd have to vote to burn them, and I wonder if people would be willing to do that or not. I mean, I
You wanna
probably
bring that?
would, but I already have a max set, so maybe I'm a little, like yeah, just get rid of these things.
You wanna bring that necromancer there with his tinfoil hat theory so we can discuss it?
Oh, Tails is tinfoil hat video. I don't know if he wants to just hop into stream with us.
I'll
I mean,
prepare.
if you do
Just give
Tails,
me a
let me
moment.
know. Ping me on Discord, and I can send you a link to join the Zoom call. But I watched that video too. It was interesting. I told Baby I don't quite know if I can. Do you think they're really talking to each other that much just because they're big whales? Like, does Biz Kitty talk with some of the other people on that vote that shut it down?
I'm
Oh,
ready.
you went and got your tinfoil hat.
Yeah,
That's great,
I
Baby
they have
Omega.
to turn it around. Yeah, there you go. Tails, we're ready if you are.
That's funny. Yeah, it was kind of like I never really sat down and I couldn't figure out why they voted no. I know when I was looking at the proposal, I took note of who was voting no, and I did say in my video, and that's why Tails said said that I posed the question: Why are these guys stopping us from getting
But
there?
if anything, I know that BIS voted down every single proposal that was connected with burning of the EC. Every single he downvoted.
Okay, I'm gonna take our cameras off screen for a second, guys, because Tails says he will join us. So I'm going to send him the link, but I need to give him time to set up himself in the Zoom call so that he doesn't become. I don't want to accidentally show his face if because he doesn't do that yet. He is not doxxed.
But if he doesn't show his face, we cannot see his tinfoil hat.
Well, the one problem without being able to see him when you do a group chat is you don't always know when he wants to talk.
Well, I mean, then he'll fight for
I think in here
passage.
that you can probably. Oh yeah, I almost forgot that he's sinister.
Yeah, he has a lot of sins to atone to.
Once he gets in, I'll bring him back into the. I'll bring us back onto the screen. Oh, I'm gonna have to admit him once
Sure
he
thing.
clicks the button.
But okay, you said, Stevie, how you like you gave the statistics of how you're earning now, but how you feel about the implementation of the thing, like how you feel about the new era of Splinterlands where we do actually have staked SPS as a requirement?
Oh, I love it. I always wanted us to have to do this. I had some initial like, you know what, it does devalue our cards because the cards can't earn on their own anymore. The cards used to be what made you earn, so
No, not
it it
necessarily. As I
it
said, a lot of
it
people in
absolutely
Champion.
devalues the cards in my opinion. But
Well,
it
I mean, people that majority of people that are not having staked SPS were not owning cards anyway. So yeah, it might hit the rental value, but how much more can it be hit actually? I mean, just I don't know if it can get any lower than what it is already. So I don't think it's really hurting anything. They're not owners. Most of them are not owning anything. They're just renting the cars they needed to compete in champion and just taking the profits.
Yep. I understand that, but in the past, all you had to do was buy packs and have cards you could play and earn. You can't do that anymore. You also have to make a stake into the coin, and so it's just a
Oh, and
different
that's a good
that
theory.
that innately makes the cards a little bit less valuable because now if I'm coming here with $100, I have to share that $100 investment between cards and SPS. So I have
No,
to spend
because you
less
still
on the
can you,
cards.
you can still invest the majority of it in SPS and rent cheap good cars with which to compete. You don't need to own them. And that's the whole problem. People were being able to make profit without putting anything into the system because this you spend like 100 200 DC or 500, okay, 2000 DC, that's $2 per season for cars, and then you earn the same rewards as somebody who have put like $2000 in the game. And people will say, whoa, I mean, if you have the skills. No, it's not even the skills. If you have the better cards, because for example, for me, I'm not renting cards. I don't have like the biggest collection. I don't have all the cards that I need, but then I stick to what I have and trying to make the best of it from what I have. So in most cases, when I'm beat, when they beat me, it's because they have the kitties, the yoris that I don't, and they don't own them; they just rent them.
Okay, yeah, the rental market. I see what you're saying there. It does change it a little bit, but overall, it's a good thing. The main reason why I got so bullish on it is because to me, SBS pretty much had no use case. Like I had no reason to buy it. It had almost no use case. Its only use case was like if you wanted to buy a couple things, you had to buy SPS to then go buy those things. But now it's actually needed within the ecosystem because governance. I mean, people will say governance is a use case, but it's not important enough because not everybody cares about governance.
Do we
Let me
have
see.
him on
Tails, are
already?
you ready to unmute and say something?
Sure. What's going on, guys?
Oh, you're a little bit quiet.
Yeah, as usual.
Oh, really? Can't hear me? Let me see if
Barely.
I can pump that up, Steve.
Yeah, that's better. I think people in the chat can confirm if they can hear you.
Excellent. Good.
Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
so you think those whales are working together to suppress the price, huh?
No, not that's not what I was necessarily thinking. What really, I guess, initiated the video was I was listening to your Into the Splinterlands podcast from I think it was Tuesday night. I listened to it on I think it was Wednesday, yesterday, and as I was driving in the car, and what stood out to me is I think you mentioned specifically in the middle of that stream, like you felt that certain whales kept voting no to get DC to peg, and I was kind of thinking about it because what I guess was confusing to me is I was reading the Peak D articles comments on Splinterlands TV stream the other night with the audience, and that's where my other video for Bulldog's proposal hit YouTube on, was just kind of me in real time, going through that. I couldn't really think of good reasons to, basically for these whales and their large stakes just say no to this proposal when they've said yes to other proposals that seem equally like a slam dunk. And so that was really confusing to me. And then when I heard your comment there, I was like, I mean, what logical reason could there be for some of the largest whales in the game to vote this proposal down? What risks do they see, and or what opportunities are they trying to protect? So I just did basically a logical kind of, I guess, use case in my head to say, okay, let me put myself in their shoes, and why why would I vote no with 10 million SPS here? And the only thing that popped into my mind was what I talked about in my video, the logic of, let's accumulate now as much as we can to be able to have more when this thing does move. Again, it's all, the logic is only relevant, or it only passes the logic test if you 100% believe in the flywheel and believe that there will be a bull market in the future that Splinterlands can take advantage of. If you believe those two things 100%, then my video's logic, I think, definitely makes sense. And for me, if I own 10 million SPS, you could arguably say that I definitely believe in the team and the flywheel and Splinterlands, because otherwise, why would I own like 5 million, 10 million, 4 million SPS, right? So it just seemed to me like we hear about this, I think, in other areas of our lives as well, similar things. Like you've probably heard the theories like, JP Morgan is secretly building their own crypto division and crypto kind of infrastructure. So once crypto becomes regulated, there'll be big players in crypto and DeFi. You probably also heard that there are Bitcoin whales out there trying to manipulate market and make margin calls on Bitcoin to be able to accumulate Bitcoin cheaper and hodl that for the future. So these are not new ideas or new, quote, tinfoil hat kind of theories. You can never be proven right? It's not like a Bitcoin whale is going to be like, yeah, I dumped on the market today to manipulate the market, liquidate a whole bunch of holdings so I could pick it up cheap. No one's going to do that. No Bitcoin whale is going to go publicly and say that. The same thing for Splinterlands. No Splinterlands whale is going to come on stream or go on Mav chat and say, yeah, guys, I want to, be greedy and double my stake or double my assets compared to everyone else. And yeah, just suck it up, guys. Keep feeding me in the meantime. They're not going to say that. They might say, all kinds of crazy things and lie to us, which is what, humans have been known to do. That's what it's called, politics, right?
Politics, yeah.
So I don't know. Again, people got mad at the video. I guess I have that effect on people, it seems, but I just speak my mind. And, logically, it just seemed reasonable that could be a possibility. Now, is it true? Is it a case of one whale thinks this, 10 whales think this, 0 whales think this? I have no idea. I'm not a whale. I don't live in their heads. But I just thought it was an interesting logical exercise. So, and as you know, Steve, I mean, the thing I do with my channel is when I do math to calculate APRs or look at things I want to move assets into, I share it with my community. I share it with my channel. I don't hide my market moves or anything like that. I just, if I'm doing a calculation on something, I'll share it with my audience, and, they can do whatever they want with it. They can ignore it. They can poke holes in it, whatever. Same thing. If I'm going to have the thought exercise to go through that logical discussion in my own head, just share it with the community and see what the commentary is. I will say one thing, just to finish up here, because I know I've been talking for a little bit, but I think it lends itself to a broader discussion around the DAO's ability to govern and move the game in a successful direction is, I think, what is underlying that video discussion. The reason I say that is because if at every turn the whales have the ability to basically say yay or nay on a vote because the team's not going to override them, then if that's the case, then the DAO has an issue or has a challenge ahead of itself, because if the DAO is just self-serving the largest whales, right? Imagine a government or a financial institution that the only decisions it makes are to benefit that group of shareholders or politicians. They have no regard for anyone else in the community. And it basically would mean that those whales could line their pockets all the way to the bank until they could line their pockets no more, because the game wouldn't support that behavior. So we've seen DECB proposal passed. Arguably, it benefited the whales and provided exit liquidity for vouchers, as an example, which the whales hold or held in great quantities, as you could see by the burn event, how much DECB was burned by some of the whales in that event. You could also, see that VRUs, which benefited large SPS stakeholders with free assets versus, smaller stakeholders. Also, again, the DEC or the primary beneficiaries of that proposal were the whales again. That voted through with flying colors. So if the only votes that are going to pass in a stake weighted DAO benefit the weighted stake, and those individuals do not put the community and the game sustainability and economy before their own pockets, that's problematic. And that's more of a I think a broader discussion that I think my video might cause people to talk about in the community. So I'll take the hate, I'll take the knives. It's okay. Um, you know,
But how is it different than lobbying, man? I mean, just real life, like what happened.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I've said before that the general issues with stake weighted weight DAOs is that it's not going to be what's the best for the community most of the time. It is going to be what's the best for the stakeholders, and the problem is, especially in our DAO, since it is actually a 66% to pass stuff. 34% isn't the hardest thing to get. It doesn't mean you can push things through, but you certainly could prevent things from happening. I think that's kind of where we're at with some of these bigger whales. It's because they had just enough to stop us from getting that bulldog proposal through. And I mean that proposal, I know some people were downplaying it, but when I did the math, Tails, and maybe you'll agree with me, it would have got us to 95% quick. Because there just wasn't enough out there. So
I mean, again, I've tried to do the math myself and couldn't see a reason for that proposal to be a bad proposal. Was it perfect? I mean, no proposal is perfect. As I mentioned in my YouTube's video on the Splinterlands TV stream, but I would say that 95% of the proposal was solid. Like you could argue and say, well, maybe you don't want to do 100%, maybe you want to do 90 or 80 or 95 or whatever. Okay, that's fair. Is it a reason to vote down the proposal as a whole? I don't know. I mean, that depends on the individual. But if the end goal was to get the flywheel in motion sooner, we know the team's runway is, Aggie said it himself, is 12 months in a good market or stable market. The next Binance or FTX or Coinbase, suit or whatever could happen any day, and it could tank the market. So, for those that say we don't need to act now, just wait, we've got SPS staking coming, we got land coming. I mean, I don't buy that argument logically, because you can do more than one good thing, and it's just going to make the benefits amplified. It's not like you do two good things and you get a bad result, or you do four good things and all of a sudden all those four things equal a negative result. No, if you do four good things, it leads to probably like 4 or 5 times the result you would have got by just doing one good thing. So I don't know. It's just, again, for me, it just boggled my mind that it was, just a certain group, a minority group would have such power. And as you mentioned, if the whales want to be obstructionist in that way to block the supermajority, they certainly can, as was witnessed here in this particular vote.
Yeah, and that's just. Or go
sorry,
ahead.
Yeah. I personally don't agree that that's probably the case. I do understand it's just a theory, but since I'm having my info hat on anyways, I can add to what you were sharing. Like another reason, an imminent quick drive in the price of SPS will bring a lot of eyeballs, and the more people are in the system, the less their payouts are going to be in some of the cases that you mentioned. So that might also be another reason. But
Yes.
but I saw the discussions around the Rift Watchers for DEC. So some of those people that you mentioned actually were quite willing to listen to Matt and consider voting for it, and they end up either voting for it or not voting at all. I think the only person that is consistently voting against anything that is for burning DC, it's Biz. But
Mm.
also from what you mentioned, probably he is the one that holds most interest in that line of things presented by you. So again, I don't think that's the case for all of them. Maybe
Sure.
for some of them, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
knows? We'll never know.
I kind of agree that I think Bulldog's thing was probably just a little too aggressive. That a few of them were just a little bit gun shy from draining the DAO of all of its stable coins and didn't think that was a good idea
Yeah,
because
but stable coins are just a piece of the DAO. I mean, it's not like you
yeah,
only hold stable coins.
And
I,
DC is a
I
stable coin,
agree, but
supposedly.
I really feel like that's why they voted no because you've already heard a couple of those big no votes say they'll vote for Holazor's proposal. Um, and I mean
Yeah, can we talk
it's
about that?
definitely it's definitely not nearly aggressive, and it's not going to support the price as much as Bulldogs. So I'm like kind of torn on if I should support that. Where are you at?
I'm really not a fan of that, honestly. I mentioned my video, trading in crypto stable coins for Splinterland stable coins seemed like a no-brainer because I mentioned my video, it's eating our own dog food. You could say it's drinking your own champagne, whatever analogy or saying you want to use. But it's basically, a one-for-one swap of one stable coin for the other. Yes, going out of a crypto stable coin that may have its own issues outside of Splinterlands, going into our own, which we basically either believe in it or we don't. It's very easy. It's either you believe in DEC getting to peg or you don't. And if you don't, well, then, I guess, that's a different conversation. But with the whole high back dollar piece, yes, it's on the Hive blockchain, which Splinterlands runs on. Sure, but they're totally, I mean, they in theory shouldn't be correlated necessarily. I mean, there's loose correlation for sure between Hive and Splinterlands to some degree, but it's not a coin that, I mean, from a DAO perspective, I mean, how many people in the Splinterlands community could describe Hive back dollars, how it works, and how you get it, how it pays the returns, what the retention period is, all this stuff. I mean, I would say even us three on this stream here, who I would say are all very knowledgeable about Splinterlands and the Hive ecosystem, would stumble through explaining HBD as a what is it, an algorithmic stablecoin, which by the way has not worked out so well in other cases. I just don't feel good about that. I don't see. Yeah, I mean, sure, if the 20% interest or staking rewards maintain the same, it's a slow trickle of positive income. But then you open up a whole another bag of worms. You could say, well, maybe we have a maxis out there that would, take coins and BTC because they believe BTC is the best cryptocurrency. So now all of a sudden you've got a bunch of different segments of the community of the DAO saying, hey, I think this is a good investment. No, I think this is a better investment. No, this is better returns here. All of a sudden now you become, food for the SEC to come in and say, hey, well, is this like a hedge fund now? What are you guys doing here? You're doing investments for this, and how are you paying taxes and all this other stuff? I don't know. It just is opens up a whole nother investor kind of can of worms that I don't
Well,
want to get into.
I don't know where the do we know where the DAO is incorporated? Because I don't think it's in America.
Yeah, it's Ali. It's wherever he's based out of.
What do you know? What country that is?
I forget. I think it's an Asian country,
Yeah, so I
maybe
don't think the
Singapore,
SEC.
Thailand.
I don't think the SEC is a worry for the DAO because of where it's incorporated. Um,
Uh,
I
You
mean,
can go after the
I don't
company though that
think,
supports it.
but you could have them do like maybe like a cease and desist of letting Americans into it or something like that. But I don't think they could come after the DAO for what it's doing because it's not under their
but even if you
jurisdiction.
take the regulation out of the equation, Steve, you see where I'm coming from, right? Now all
I
of a
do I
sudden you got
do
people saying this is a better investment here. No, I think you should invest in my car wash down the street. I'll give you a good
I think you
APR.
should give it to me, Tails. I already told you I want 50K to make a couple of videos. That's my proposal.
Hey, it's it's if you can get it, take it, I guess.
I just don't think at this point that all hiring people from the DAO should be allowed discussion. And at the end of the day, it wasn't supposed to be something where actually the DAO is spending. It was supposed to be something that actually will earn quickly
Well, I thought the main
income for the
purpose of
DAO.
the DAO was to stockpile SPS during downtimes like this so that it can support the validator network in the future because we only mint SPS in theory for 5 years unless the DAO doesn't have its act together and then we have to vote to go ahead and inflate the coin, which could be kind of devastating to the idea of all of this. Um, so that's something I think not enough people pay attention to. That's why I was against Rift Watchers being sold for anything other than SPS because I wanted the DAO to get the SPS because the DAO is supposed to be holding a lot of SPS. And
But
this time I voted yes for it though because people weren't buying it with SPS, so it wasn't getting any funds to the DAO. So I'll go ahead and take DEC, and then eventually I think I would do a proposal to slowly sell the DEC into SPS if we needed to get more DEC into the DAO. I mean, more SPS into the
but
DAO.
but if you get actually if you get to the point where you get DC to a peg, the SPS that the DAO has will start increasing value once the flywheel is on. So with that push, it's kind of justified because yes, you're not no longer receiving SPS for the packs you're selling, but that goes towards taking out the liquidity of DC out of the market, which in case helps the flywheel, that which in case is supposed to help the price of SPS, and then you end up with the same amount of SPS that eventually costs more and more.
Yeah, but the DAO does have to fund all of the pools of the play to earn ecosystem, or the play to earn ecosystem comes to an end in what 3 years? Or
Well, yeah,
what do we
but
have left in the mint?
when the price, it's the same thing with having a Bitcoin. Like when the price of the SPS goes higher, you can lower the APR
Yeah,
because it will
yeah,
be worth it more at the end of
I
the day.
understand. I understand that theory, but it still has to have it. It's got to be able to fund a pool to play to earn. It's got to be able to fund a pool to do SPS validators in theory if the game is running on them. Maybe that project gets nixed, but I don't think it will. And it's got to fund the land and the earning within the land ecosystem. All of that is funded in the current SPS white paper, but after the 3 billion coins are minted, that coin is supposed to not be minted anymore. And so the only way to, um, like originally, in my mind, the little in between set, the Rift Watcher set, the dice set, was always supposed to refill the DAO with SPS to keep filling up those
Correct.
coffers to keep this game play to earn for the foreseeable future. Now that they've changed this model to sell everything in DEC to support the peg, to support the flywheel, the DAO has to find a way to keep getting funds, keep getting returns, and keep getting SPS, or this party has an end date.
Yeah, I mean, the way it would work is, if we're getting DEC, it's still stable value. Like if you sell a pack for $5 in DEC, it should be $5 in the future. The difference is you don't get the potential increase in value over time. You could still, in theory, over time, sell some of that DEC, to trade it into SPS, on a periodic basis to migrate out of DEC if the DAO wanted to do that. I think long term, without introducing new game modes or new mintings, the idea in an ideal world would be that, like Bitcoin, like the value of SPS would increase a lot. Let's just say SPS would be worth, in this example, 3 years from now, $1 as an example, so that the number of rewards that you would be able to give out would be less. Meaning today we get 1.7 SPS per plot of land for the land rewards. It's roughly, 3.5 cents. Well, if SPS is $1 3 years from now, you could still reward, roughly the same rewards, 3.5 cents for a plot of land. It would just take a heck of a lot less SPS. So instead of one
That's what I was
SPS, it would
saying.
be like 0.035 SPS. And you can go
Yeah,
kind of
but
like
I
take that
don't
as an
think
example.
I don't think you could go that extreme. I mean, you have to let some of the run up of the coin come into increased earnings.
Well,
Otherwise,
it's just an
people are
example, and
going to
also
be upset. But I still see your point. You could give them 10 cents a day,
Sure.
and and you'd be fine because now that's way less SPS than you were giving them to give them 3 cents in the past.
Which is
also
And
even
I
more
get that. I
reason.
do get it.
I also want to say something. Also, you have the team needing DC constantly. For how the business operates. So if they can start a swap at the price, like at the market price DC for SPS. So, anyways, the DC won't be hitting the
Wait,
market
why
directly
does the team need DEC?
because whoever buys credits, they need to convert those credits to
Oh, for
DC.
that, for
So
that.
they're constantly buying off DC from the market. And instead of doing that, once the DC supply dries up, they can just do a whatever. They can even automate it that they get it from the DAO, swapping it for SPS. So DAO will still get the SPS replenished, but that DEC will be it will be worth more than it currently costs because that's supposedly already when DEC is at peg, because that's what the whole taking DC off the market was trying to achieve, even in that proposal.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I don't know what their coffers are like. I think the team holds a lot already. But if the game is more popular, I could see them maybe being somebody the DAO could sell to in an OTC trade so that they don't have to hurt the price of DEC to get it into SPS. It
Well,
just
they're
makes
not,
things, this model is just going to make things a little bit more complicated.
but there are not many
Obviously,
avenues to get into the game as to get like fresh capital fiat. There are not many avenues to get fiat into the game aside from going through PayPal. And that's all coming into credits, which has to be converted at some point to DEC. So we are talking about eventually with the next bull run or whatever it comes, when there will be a time where there will be some interest again in Splinterlands and new people start coming in. There'll be the ones that are not familiar with the game already. They'll be probably coming in with fiat, and they'll be probably coming in with the easiest way to do that, which is through PayPal. And that's a lot of credits for which you have to cover up with DEC at a time where supposedly DEC is not enough anymore.
yeah, but I don't know. We'll have to see when that time happens. I don't know that everyone who comes in wouldn't be already crypto friendly. I don't know how much DEC the team has.
Oh yeah, of course. We
If
don't know.
and if they need it, yeah, if the DAO has it, they can
You
buy
want me
it.
to
We'll
put
have
it
to
back
see
on?
if the DAO builds up an SPS, a DEC, um, because the Holozor thing is only going to have them build up a small amount of DEC over time.
Yeah, it's that just I don't think it's enough. I mean, I guess it's
Do
better than nothing. I just don't think it's enough.
I don't know if we want to go there, but Aaron did drop a comment that I didn't get into yet. About he's still trying to decide what he thinks about Matt. He thinks he's a genius, but that his view that the game needs to be bot agnostic and make the game try to design the game to be fair between bots and us, which he talked about. He kind of said that again on the town hall today when they got into the bot discussion. That was a bit of a disappointment, that he still feels like this like thing they're doing for modern is something they're just doing for modern, but in general he doesn't care if bots work the land. He doesn't care if bots do that, but he did seem to say that they do care about though they didn't say it strongly, that they care about the win trading that Tails
He did
pointed
say it
out.
strongly. He mentioned it, and also
I feel like every time he kind of backed off on it. Like maybe it's that he just and we lost Tails. Sorry, I didn't see him say he had to go, but
yeah.
he did say he only had a few minutes. But the uh he kind of backed off it being a big problem or act like it wasn't a big thing. So, and I don't know, maybe they have data that it's not a big thing on the back end, but like when it was brought up, he kind of said like, well, yeah, we could probably update terms so that you're not allowed to do that, but it's not really a big deal. You
Oh,
know,
but he
like
said they
that.
will update them once they update it for the bots, like in modern whatever. He said that they'll add things for like at the end, towards the end when he was answering the questions, he said it like yeah, there should be something against win trading. And also, I have to ask you if you want to scratch that topic. Do you have time?
Yeah, I can stay on a little bit longer tonight.
Because yeah, it will
It's a
be.
special stream, and Tails came in. And we were talking with him for 30 minutes. So,
I'm just saying it's a topic that if we get into, we know how it ends.
oh well, I don't want to get into the whole bot topic. I just I agree with Aaron. I think it's a little bit of like you know they want so hard to be decentralized, and they feel like that means you have to allow bots to play in the game. Oh, he lost power. I was gonna
Yeah.
say I didn't understand why he just disappeared like that. So
You
maybe
could
he'll
have
come
said
back.
bye.
So he came into chat probably on his phone to let us know that his PC's rebooting. So if you want to
Yeah.
come back, just click on the link and I'll put you back in, Tails. But um, maybe he'd want to talk about this since he's the one who did the video exposing the win trading.
Oh, he's the
Um,
bot whisperer, so he definitely would want to talk
Well,
about
I
that.
know he hates them. He hates them more than I do. In
I
fact, like
know.
I used to like kind of be more on your side, and then I talked to him enough, and then I just looked at it more objectively. I'm just like, no, they're ruining the game. I still think they're ruining the game. They're
Well,
cool. They're great for match liquidity. They make it so that someone like me who's busy and has a job and a family can still earn 90 champion chests a season without ever touching the game. I got my first DEC payout, but you know what? All of that to me, you're letting me leech the game without putting in any time. And
first of all,
that's
leeching is
that's
kind of like
not great.
what is the definition of leeching? Where do you leech the game to?
Well, it's that you're not like you don't become to me you don't become emotionally attached to the game when you have a bot play instead of you play. It's all financial, and then you're
I
constantly looking to
disagree.
get your money back out of the game. So the first thing you have to do is you're like, okay, I gotta pay for my cards I bought. I have to pay for my bot token, or I have to make sure I'm earning enough to cover my bot service, depending on if you're doing the monthly basis ones or a token. And then after I've done that, I have to diversify, and the whole time you're constantly looking to pull things out of the game. And you're also usually looking to not level up your cards. You're picking a sweet spot to earn the best, which is typically about level 4 cards that can play
Hmm.
into gold 1.
And
That seems to be the sweet spot
how
for
much money
cheapest
have you
earnings and most and best results.
how much money have you taken out of the game?
How much money have I taken out of the game? Well,
Yeah.
I've been here since the very
No,
beginning.
no, no. From since you started using Archmage.
Oh, since I've started using Archmage, I don't know, probably a few $1,000s.
Well, you're a bad boy. But on top of that, I was going to ask you how many accounts have you opened additionally?
Oh, um, well, previously to Splintermate, because I didn't really become a big Archmage user. I did that video introducing Splintermate to people, and they gave me 500 free days of using their bot on as
Hmm.
many account as I want. And so that was the first time I did at one point start to bot with a total of 6 accounts. I think.
But what I'm saying is, instead of
One,
selling
two,
those cards,
three.
you're just putting them in accounts and you just provide liquidity. But see, no, my main point is that because you said like that I'm like almost like pro bots, I'm not. I hate them just as much as you do, guys. But I also realized that those services are not the real problem because most of the accounts that operate those services are actually people who are investing into the game and are just making their assets not sit idle. And most of them, I didn't know you've taken out a couple of thousand, but most of them I know for sure for myself and my friend Vozena, we don't take it out. We just reinvest in the game. We just build up. But that's not even the point. The point is, it's not about liking them or not liking them. It's about being a battle that you cannot win. It's a whack-a-mole. It's if you start going that route, they have to put aside resources to fight specifically that. That's a lot. Like somebody mentioned today in the town hall, company spends millions and millions of dollars just to try to fight bots. It's impossible, but it's hard because whatever measures you come with, there will be somebody smarter that can come with countermeasures. It doesn't even have to be smarter
See,
because
I disagree with
Oh,
you there
Steve, I got
because.
this.
Okay, go ahead, Tails. Go.
Oh, I was listening to my phone here. So let me I guess talk about this, baby. I want to specifically talk about your comments here because in this particular case, I mean, wow, where do I even start here? Let's start with the premise of Splinterlands. Splinterlands is a play and earn game, meaning there's limited um, income that exists in the ecosystem that has to be paid out to the players. And what happens is if you compare Splinterlands, let's just use an analogy here again, because I like analogies. If Splinterlands was a business that sold things, let's say pick a business, let's say it's Nike. We sell shoes. We're a Splinterlands shoe company, right? Instead of giving out shoes, we give out SPS, right? In order to keep the lights on and to make more shoes and to stay in business, we need people to buy our shoes. The problem is bots don't buy shoes. They steal shoes and they sell the shoes that we make on the secondary market to other people, right? That's the reason why bot farms specifically are a leech on the ecosystem, because they're
100%.
sucking value out of the game instead of giving it to players that put value back into the game and make the game sustainable over time as a business. Now, additionally, what you have here is 99.9% of the Web3 and Web2 gaming industry realizes that bots are bad. Bad for games, bad for the ecosystem, bad for real players. Somehow, some way, the geniuses here in Splinterlands seem to think that bots are not bad for the game, even though 99.9% of the industry says they are, right? In my video, I specifically mentioned that, as Matt has mentioned himself, he believes that the tokenomics and the earning potential of Splinterlands is what the competitive advantage of Splinterlands. If you want graphics, if you want different gameplay, you don't play Splinterlands, right? Let's face it. I mean, I'm not even going to go into the creative side of where we're at here on what the game looks like, but the game is the crown jewel. The competitive advantage of the game is its tokenomics. If you have bad tokenomics, right, you don't have a good competitive advantage. You don't have a good game at that point. Protect the crown jewels. Everyone will say, oh, it costs money, it costs resources. Yeah, exactly. And as a game company, you have to pay developers to develop the game, because that's also a requirement of doing business. Same thing with having security and anti-bot measures. It's a part of the business, the cost of doing business. You have lawyers on your team as a corporate lawyer, as a business. It costs money. Do you like to pay them? No, but guess what? You got to pay the bills for the stuff that requires to keep the lights on. This is part of business 101. So those that say, hey, you don't need to deal with bots because it's expensive. No, in this particular case for Splinterlands, it is the most important thing to protect: your ecosystem, your economy, your tokenomics. And if you're not doing that, I'm sorry, you're asleep at the wheel.
I will just forget everything I want to say. So, I mean, can we do it part by part?
Sure, let's do it.
CV, if you want to add something, because yeah, I also want
Well,
to.
yeah, the thing I'm pointing out, Baby Omega, his thing he wants to say is that they can't do it. They can't stop it. The genius bot programmers of the world are always going to get around the way for people to get in. And I'll admit, they can get in, but usually they get caught relatively quick if you have a good security team. And the, they're real IT security, it exists. You can keep these kind of things out if you want to. Real competitive esports, they catch the hackers. I'm not saying that nobody hacks, but they get caught usually and they get banned from those games. It's completely normal to not allow people in any kind of game that wants to call itself somewhat competitive, which every single play to earn game is. Whether it just is by its nature, it's a competitive game where I'm trying to earn more than you. Um, then you letting people use bots is just it's anti-competitive. It's just bad. It to the point to where this game can never be a serious esport. It can never be anything more than just a play to earn crypto game that's infested with bots. Because I agree with Tails. The leaders have just taken the stance, and I feel like Aggie stepped away from this a little bit, but Matt hasn't at all. That some I don't understand, and I will never understand why people think decentralization means that robots get to play. I don't understand that.
Yeah,
So
and
just
I
quick
think
point. I
just real
mean,
quick, baby, if I can add,
my turn. I,
just
I,
that,
I
I'm
let,
going to add one thing because I think it's
okay.
important here because
Yeah,
again, we all I think can agree that when trading, that what I displayed in my video is an
definitely,
exploit and cheating and should not be
definitely.
allowed. What I want to say really briefly before we go into your points, baby, is I was very disappointed on today's town hall when Weirdbeard tried to address my question that I put in there talking about terms of service and enforcement, and it was just glossed over. And it was very disappointing to basically hear them say that doesn't look like they have any plans in the near future to enforce the bad behavior that we saw and continue to see over the last several years. I've done multiple videos on wind trading. It's not like it's gone away. Every time a bot farm does it, nothing happens. If you don't have teeth, you don't enforce stuff, there's no penalty. It's just going to continue. And I'm very I was just very disappointed that again they had an opportunity to say yes, we're going to do something about it, and they declined and walked away from it.
Can I talk?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, first on your last point, I probably because Stevie said it was in reply. I'm 95% sure that I did hear Matt say, yeah, once we put the terms of service about bot not being allowed in modern, there'll be also a part where it's mentioned that WinTrade is also against the term of service. You both say probably it wasn't as strong made his point. That's okay, but it's not like he's okay with that. It just again because there are so many points, I have to start from somewhere. But what you said about bot farms, I said it as well before you start talking. I also said like, yeah, I don't think the services like ArcMage and XBot and whatnot are the real problem. The bot farms are, but then again, it's not about me liking them or wanting them in the game. No, I hate them too. Just the point is, you're saying, yeah, every company that is serious about their tokenomics should put aside the resources to fight. Yeah, maybe at some point when do they have the resources, they will put them. But now what they're working towards, and they have said it numerous times, it's like they said we cannot play whack-a-mole with the bots. We are trying to find a way to restrict any advantage they can have over humans. That's their base of the economy changes they're going
And
towards.
it's why you have the nightmare of soulbound reward cards. The game continues to bend itself into pretzels to deal with bots to make the player experience so horrible and so complex because they won't take a stand. And that's why we have soulbound reward cards. And that's why we have now this
Thales, it's not
crazy
about taking a
unlocking.
stand, it's having the resources to do so. You
No,
see,
no,
they're struggling with two big projects that they're having at the
No,
moment.
no, 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 no. I don't agree. I have to stop you. If they could take the stand of saying it is against terms of service, and if we catch you, we'll ban you. They could
Yes,
do
that's all
that.
they have to do.
Regardless if they could actually catch you, they could make the stance that you're not allowed to do it. And
Well,
then
they
the
make one better.
archmages would
They
have to
actually,
disappear, and the Xbot would have to disappear, or not, at least not be public. And there would still be some bots in the game that they would have to try to catch. But the point is, they won't take that stance. We had
no,
to force
actually
them
they
with
are.
a DAO vote.
They did not. If you listen to the replay, baby, when Matt talks about changing the terms of service, he says we will update the terms of service. Nowhere does he say anywhere in that statement that they'll actually enforce the terms of service. So if they go in the terms of service and add a line that says win trading is not allowed, they can put that in the terms of service. But if they don't do anything with it, they don't monitor it, they don't search for it, they don't, when they catch someone, they don't do anything with those accounts, you might as well have done nothing, because adding a line to a terms of service that means nothing is useless. It's pointless. I'm sorry.
but just Stevie just said, but at least let them take a stand and put them in the terms of service. So, I mean, you're on the same side, but you're kind of contradicting each other. So
But
it being
Matt didn't
there,
say that in the same breath, in the same video where he said, sure, when I have to, because the DAO voted to, I'll put in this thing. And he said, I don't really like win trading, so we can make it against the rules. But he also said, everyone needs to understand that Splinterverse is bot agnostic, and our true goal is just to try to make it so bots don't have advantages. He said
and
that.
he have mentioned it over and over before that the reason for that is it's a battle you cannot win. It's an endless sink of resources which you can spend otherwise in ways trying to actually find them in a way that even if they pass through, even if they slip through your security system, they won't be having an advantage over other people. And my other point that I couldn't make on what Tails was saying about the terrible bot farms, which I agree, they are terrible. I don't like them at all, not the least. But what is the difference between those and players who actually come, spend a couple of dollars, rent all the cards, go play in champ, earn their rewards, cash out, and rinse and repeat? Like, they don't put anything into the game. And I'm telling you, because today I was playing, I was like going through my champion battles, and I was seeing the actual earnings of the people that beat me. I see the cards they're playing with. I see the cards they're owning, or more likely not owning. And then now they cannot do that anymore. So that's one step towards restricting such behavior. They have been, since last 6 months, they have been doing everything possible or in different ways to try to restrict the possibility of people extracting value. People, bots, doesn't matter, because what's the difference between the bots and the people that do it? I mean, just because bots doing it with big numbers, well, if there are big numbers of people doing it, like a huge guild suddenly comes over and do the same thing, what will be the difference? They will still be leeching from the game. They won't be bots, but they'll be leeching. So instead of trying to figure out who is actually bot and who is not, if there are safeguards implemented that, yeah, you can earn, but you have to be invested in the game. You have to have put something. You have to put not only, like in this case, and not only cards, you have to have now SPS as well. So in some way, you have to be invested in the game in order to earn appropriately, because you can earn otherwise, but it will be just something minimal. See, that's a more efficient way to fight the leeching itself, be it bot, be it people, that group of people. It's all the same. You cannot stop everybody, but in a way, when you find a way to restrict them, you don't have to worry about the ones that slip through.
I don't think so, man. I think you're looking at
Okay,
this
I mean,
a
we
little
can at
bit
least
wrong.
disagree.
And the reason why is because 10 of my friends joined the game, and all of them rent cards, and they earn so well, and they are selling like they're doing what you say. They're renting, they're playing in champion, and they're selling. That only expands so far because there's only so many champion level cards to rent before that price is not going to be cheap anymore. That's the way any rental system works. So it doesn't grow exponentially to rent cards and play in the champion level and make make really good return on those chests.
Same
It
counts
gets
for
really
bots.
expensive.
Only so many bots
But
can do it.
bots don't have to do that because they figured out a way to win trade. I don't need to
Oh,
go play in
okay. So
champion.
win trade is totally different topic that we're talking about. And yeah, I agree with you. Like,
It's included. They figured out a way to do that. They figure out cheater ways to exploit things. Those 10 guys that you were talking about, they're not doing that. They're not exploiting anything. They're taking advantage of a cheap rental market right now. That's it. But that comes to an
and
end if the game gets popular.
and the lack
It's
of
also,
is taking so far.
look, it's also worth noting that the bot win trading issue technically is known, it's documented, and the team has said they're not patched it. Right? No, there's been no confirmation that this win trading that we saw most recently is fixed. So the only way it's going to be stopped is, well, maybe with SPS staking, maybe they don't stake SPS in these silver accounts anymore. That's a possibility. But technically speaking, the exploit is still there. It has been patched. And if they're not doing any detection or any discovery and waiting for the community to find it and post a video on it, it's just going to continue at some point. Also, I posted here in chat here, Steve, just an example of a game company that does police bots and does an active role. It's RuneScape. It's another large MMO type game in the Web 2 space that also
Web 2
has
space, yeah.
yeah. But it's
Yeah.
the point is these guys do anti-bot measures and it's effective and it can be done. And if we're talking about expenses, the team has too many projects and not enough money to pay for a security resource or someone to monitor this. Well,
Yeah,
what
WoW also doing measures for anti-botting, and I was botting for a year on WoW, gathering, you know, resources for crafting and whatnot. I mean, that's not the point. Yeah, there are some measures. Every now and then they ban a bunch of accounts for like a scarecrow. But even their services are not really that great. Let me tell you that, and they can be past. Like you can if you know what you do. I wasn't doing the program by myself. It was even available on internet and whatnot, and still it was not detected. It was something available on internet. So that what I'm saying is, whenever you implement some measures, there are people that are working hard to find a way past those measures anyways, because if there is interest in botting, people will find a way to sell
Yep.
their bots or distribute them
Yeah,
or whatever.
but
It's called
Splinterlands
shrinkage in
isn't-
retail.
and there is that, but also Splinterlands is not a complicated game. It's not WoW, right? It's not RuneScape. It's a card game. It's not, in my mind, going to be that hard for them to prove, at least within a reasonable doubt, that an account is being played by a bot. And you know, to be completely honest, the current bots all pretty much play the game the same way, and so it would be very easily to shut down every bot that's currently in the game because they're all doing it the easy way. And then the argument is, well, then some people will start to eventually program new bots that'll get in a new way. Well, you'd probably buy yourself 2 to 3 months without any in the game. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm overestimating that time frame, and then you can see how this ecosystem would play without bots. My guess is, and the dirty secret here is that there's just not that many of us playing the game, and that if all the bots disappeared, you might only see 6,000 accounts in the game, and then Splinterlands isn't a top D app at all.
I just thought, because I had sorry that, yeah, I'm sure Tels wants to talk too, but I'm just on his topic that he's talking about the win trading. I remember they used to do it with one of the teams not submitting any cards. The team addressed that, as far as I remember. Now they start putting one card. Like, if that is addressed as well, what prevents them, since they know which...
It's not addressed. It doesn't matter if you put no cards or one card. The point is they know they're going against their own bot farm.
Exactly. So what prevents them at future, if that becomes big of an issue, that you can detect them easily by just playing one BCX card, what is the difficulty for them knowing who they face to put a team that has no chance? It's still a team like a normal team, but it's put there just for the point of losing the battle, because obviously when you're putting both teams, you can put the cards in a way that you know this
Well,
win, this team
that's
will
the
win.
point, baby. Is the bot farms are so bold and Splinterlands is so asleep at the wheel. They don't have to even try and hide it. They don't even because they know they're not doing any
Exactly, but
analytics.
they're not
You
hiding
can't
because they're
look.
not they're
Look,
not
I
forced
don't
into
buy the
hiding.
excuse. If I'm a
They're not.
retail business and I say, hey, you can come into my store and take anything you want off the shelves and not pay for it, and that's fine. Everyone's going to come into my store and take stuff off the shelves and leave, and because they know nothing's going to happen. That's silly to say, well, we're not going to police it because they're just going to steal from us anyway. No, you police it. You put security guards up there, you put cameras, and you call the police and enforce people when they steal, they go to jail. The same thing with Splinterlands is right now, they're just letting people walk away with stuff off the shelves. And the bots aren't even trying to hide it because they know they can do it. So I don't
Yeah,
buy the excuse that you
I don't
don't do
like the
anything.
that attitude either. I agree with Tails. You can't say that we can't stop them, so we won't try. I mean, that's
Oh well,
crazy.
no, they can try, but see exactly the answer that Matt gave as well. He's like, yeah, we're working towards this non but modern. We'll put things out, and we won't be policing it. We'll like we've made a deal with a third party company that will be implementing this thing for us, but we'll put it out and that's it. It's not like something that they're going to go over and over again too.
And that's a
It will be
mistake.
out, and as effective as it is what it is.
That's a mistake. But I
Well,
don't
I
run the
mean,
business, so they can do whatever they want. Here's what I also say, since you fired me up here a little bit, baby Omega. The I would say it's a known issue in the community that bot farms have been stealing value and depressing SPS value by selling into all of us SPS buyers, right? It's known. You can see it on High Blockchain Explorer, et cetera, et cetera. I've proven it in my videos, and I've got the receipts here. The team has specifically said they're not marketing to new players. They're not advertising. They're not doing any of those things because, well, they're not even doing like tutorials or keeping the game documentation up to date because they're just trying to get out new functionality at this point.
yeah.
But yet you have someone on staff that's full purpose in life is to do marketing and advertising. Yet you have an issue with security and bots, but you have no one on staff to do that. Does that make sense?
Whoa, wait. I mean, the guy that has to do that should be technical somewhat.
Well, no,
It can
he's
just
pointing out that they have a head of marketing while they do no marketing, but they don't have a head of anti-botting while bots are ruining the game.
okay. They have head of marketing because because they're not doing marketing for Splinterlands at the moment doesn't mean the whole company like there are
And
different
I
projects they
won't
have also.
totally like throw Chatter under the bus because they're having him do marketing for GLX. That doesn't really help us, but he's over there doing that right now.
Yeah, I mean they have different projects. Then they'll start like the Invenium and Arcade Colony where they have to reach out to partners that want to come over and whatnot. So it's even if temporary, the head of marketing is really not
Yeah,
invested like doing
but
nothing.
I'll still stand by my statement. I still think the reason why Matt and them have just decided to generally be bot agnostic is because there isn't enough players for Splinterlands to be a top D app to be able to say that there's 50, 60,000 of us here. When land gets going, maybe we'll get more bots spun up and there'll be 100,000 accounts here in the game, but there's just not that many people. And I'll stand by that because our top streamers get 2 to 300 views. Splinterlands TV gets less than 100 people most nights. The community of actual people anywhere out there in the social world is extremely small. How many people went to Splinterfest? 300-400. And it's not like I mean, to be completely honest, I thought when they were only selling how many tickets they were selling that was insane because we have hundreds of thousands of players. It wasn't insane. Hardly anybody went, and that was the first time I started to realize maybe this community is a little bit more smoke and mirrors than people want to admit. And that you know is something that's one of the reasons why I took $2,000 worth of profit out of this game, because I don't believe, as
Yeah,
long
you
as
do.
they won't take a stance on bots, I don't believe in putting all of my money back into this game.
They take
because to me,
stance on bots. On
n-
bots. All the
they
changes they're doing
no,
are
no, what
precisely
they're doing
restricting.
is making the game really hard for me because that's the only thing they can do to try to restrict the bots. They're making it so now I have to stake SPS. They're making it so my soulbound cards that I earned by playing the game, I have to pay to use them on land. They're making it so I even have soulbound rewards cards into regular cards. This is the whole twisting us
Yeah,
into
but that's more
pretzels thing that
effective.
Tails talked about. Yes, it slows the bots down, but it slows me down too.
Well, I mean, okay, we're
So
just
they're
the collateral
hurting me
damage.
as a player because they have to hurt me because they literally have to attack their player base.
Well, but you're hurting
Because the player base
for
is
a week
bots and
or
they have to
two, for a
stop
month.
them.
Like, do you remember how much of an outcry was there when the card levels were introduced? Nobody's talking about that anymore. Everybody's accepting it as part of the game, like it's something totally normal. And I do understand, yeah, it's a fresh wound now, the whole staking SPS, but it makes sense. It makes
No,
sense, even if it wasn't for the bots, it makes sense that you are rewarded in accordance to what you have invested in the ecosystem. And as I said, yeah,
but
I do
I was
understand some people are
already
having,
doing that.
yeah, some
Technically,
people,
we were doing that with the cards that we bought, the
yes,
money that I
you were.
invested to
Yes, you
earn.
were, but a lot of players were not. They were still playing with those cards, but they were not owning them. They were renting them dirt cheap, and they were earning the same rewards that you are earning with the thousands of dollars that you have put in the game. So now, guess what? They cannot do that anymore. You still have your cards, you still have your staked SPS, and you're still earning not even the same. You're even earning more than you were earning before. But guess what? They're earning 0.3 SPS in a Champ 2 game. How about
Yeah,
that?
no, I understand that what they did, the staking SPS thing, is going to change the game dramatically. I know that I showed you just in my little silver games that I won a game and earned 2,000 RP because my account has SPS, and I lost a game and the other guy only got 400
Yeah.
RPs. So, like I said, he's going to have to get 5 wins to get the same amount of rewards I'm getting for 1 win. That is absolutely going to change this ecosystem going forward. It's going to make it harder for bots to exist here, but it's also making it harder for me to get a new friend into the game. This is the thing. When you make these changes, as good as they are for stopping the people that you're saying that are just renting cards, which I don't like to attack those people because they're only able
I'm
to
not
rent
trying to
cheap
attack
cards
anybody.
because we
Just
rent them out for
comparison.
cheap. But the fact of the matter is that that doesn't scale. If enough renters showed up, that would get expensive. But the thing is that now if I want to go to my friend and I want to have him play this game, I have to have him come in, buy a cryptocurrency, stake that cryptocurrency, and buy cards. This is one of the reasons why I almost stopped doing my new account series. It's because everything gets so complicated over here. You don't earn cards that you can use anymore, that you can trade anymore, that you could sell anymore. You earn SPS, but you can't sell that because you need to keep staking it to increase your stake. Look, for those of us that are already here and already have everything to go, this could be really good, but it's so hard to pitch this game to a new person right now. Because,
Well,
and
maybe
I
at
understand
its
you're
current
saying
state, yes.
and I understand that, like, I can go to him and be like, you have to make a stake. You have to get a stake. You have to be staked into the ecosystem to take out of the ecosystem. But, maybe that'll be a better pitch if SPS is worth a little bit more. But I don't know. It's
We'll get
tough.
Yeah,
there.
I
We'll
think
get
that
there.
is an interesting thing that we have to realize. So we definitely want to monitor the DAU, the daily active users, after the change today is put in place to see what effect it has on bots and humans. Because to your point, Steve, one of the things that we need to happen is we need new players to want to come into the game. As a new player, like if I had never played Splinterlands prior to now and I didn't have any assets, and my friend said, "Hey, try this game," and oh, I have to buy token token to get the token token to get the cards, which I can't sell. So why am I doing all this? Why am I putting into the money into the game just to earn the token that I had to put into the game in the first place? And I don't get anything. You say I get potions, which I can't sell or use unless I buy packs. I get merits, which if I'm not part of a guild, I can't use. And if I get gladiator cards, I can't sell them. I get soulbound cards, which I can't sell and I can't use on land if I bought land. And I get SPS that I need to basically keep in the game because I can't take it out to sell it to get my money back because I need it to earn more reward. So it's just a really bad look for any new players coming into the game right now. And yeah, I mean, it works for those of us that have assets in the game and have been here a while, but you have to look at it from a new player's perspective or like a silver or bronze player perspective. And I don't think it's attractive when you can look at all these other games that are releasing on Web3. Who's going to come here and play? There's no reason to do so.
It's not attractive, and that's why they're not doing any marketing at the moment. And until they start actually working towards the new player experience, which they haven't, because they're working on two big projects, and that gets their place full.
But what's your answer?
Out of the way. One is out of the way, the other will be out of the way probably in about a month, and then they can focus on actually implementing all the weird beards ideas with like new game modes and whatnot.
So how long is that going to take? Another year for that to come? My point here is
they're working with some resources that they have. They cannot do more than what they're doing. Like they have who they have, and they have to make the most out of it. And just because they are doing now two big projects, and it felt like for eternity that nothing is happening in the game, once those projects are out, they can focus on smaller things, getting out smaller things that are actually going to improve the gameplay, going to finish the tech modernization, so improve the whole UI UX experience for mobile and whatnot. Those are steps that they're planning to take, but they have limited resources and they work with that. At least that's how I see it. So yeah, we have to wait, I guess, but it's for a reason. It's not like they're drinking their cocktails on a sunny beach somewhere in the Caribbean. They're working hard.
Yeah, that's not what we think, though. That's not our. We just think that they're letting a certain thing. Like I feel like that runway could be longer. I feel like assets could have been protected more. But even years, for a long time, we've said that these bots needed to go, and instead, they grew and they got more accepted.
Do you understand? It's easier said than done.
It doesn't, but you understand they've never taken a stance that they want to stop it, though.
Yes, and it's just going to continue to be a problem.
On the contrary, they've always said they are working towards finding a way to make them not profitable or not being able to extract.
They're trying to create an ecosystem where a bot and a human are equal, which is almost impossible.
But Steve, also it's possible to stop them in general.
You're talking in circles, though. You're basically saying that the bot problem, it can't be solved. The reason why we have staked SPS is because of the bot problem, and they're working on it. But that's even my point, is because they're not addressing the bot problem, we have staked SPS, and because we have staked SPS, we don't have really a great way to get new people into the game. So
I disagree with that, because the requirements for the lower leagues for stake SPS are laughable. So it's not like nobody can afford them, and then also people just
why would I play?
Why? What's the pitch to come and play?
Because it has higher ceiling, because at the moment SPS is super cheap. So the one that you accumulate now, even if it's pennies, like it was when I was playing for pennies five years ago. And then those pennies turned into dollars and even tens of dollars because the way the game advanced. So at some point you're earning assets that are worthless or worth very little. And at some point, because of the scarcity factor, because of the whole economic style,
but back then you could have took those pennies if you wanted them. The point is, this is a play to earn game that for a new player, they don't earn anything they can sell.
Well, I mean, but that's because of the bots.
Exactly.
You're making our point.
The only way to fight with the bots is to restrict what they earn to a point where it's no longer profitable for them to be here, and they find some other project to go leech from.
But look,
as well as every other player that comes
a
in.
lot of games are starting to come out. You have the Stella Fantasy game that me and Tails are playing, and we've got a few other people to play. My point is that's a decent play to earn game. Its economy might not be great. Its
Decent
token
play to
isn't
earn?
holding up, but it's a game. Like you actually can play and have fun
And earn?
and yes, you can earn. I've earned 6 tokens for a total of like 12 cents. But you're the one who said the
Yay.
tokens can go up. So my point is though, but in Splinterlands, if I was a new player and said come put 20 or 30 bucks into this game, I wouldn't be earning anything that I could sell because I'm earning soulbound rewards cards and I'm earning SPS, but if I want to keep progressing into the game, my SPS stake always has to get bigger. So I'm not incentivized to ever start to dip into that. The only
Unless
way
you
I
decide
make
you want
any
out.
money is if I get super lucky and I pull a pack and I decide to sell the pack instead of open the pack. But again, I'm more
Or you open the
incentivized to
pack.
open it because I need to
and you
get
pull something
higher
nice.
level cards and go on and on and on. And I'm not saying that there aren't some people out there that that'll appeal to, but when you're trying to push your general crypto play to earn game, the thing you're pushing is what can you earn? And it's not that easy to go to everyone and pitch, well, in about a year, if you stick with it and you keep putting more money into it, you'll finally reach a point where you have 400,000 SPS staked and you can earn full amounts at Champion 1 and you've now put thousands of dollars into the game and now you can finally start pulling a little bit of money out when you're earning that SPS because you don't need any more unless you'd like to have 13x on your earnings. Then you got to get to 1.2 million SPS.
Yeah,
staked.
or you can pull them out and buy yourself a house.
Well, maybe,
What?
maybe.
I mean, it can come to
A
that point.
dollhouse.
It can come to that point. I mean, it was just like, I think, Teos, you were giving an example that it's possible in 3-4 years' time, SPS is $1, right? You're saying
Yeah.
50 cents, but okay, as same way it can be $1, right? So 400,000 SPS, $400,000, that can buy you a house.
Some places.
Well, yeah, most places.
But the point is like this is why I stopped bringing money into Splinterlands until very recently. I started buying a little bit of SPS because I actually am starting to think we might see the flywheel happen. But the flywheel has its own innate problems because you want to talk about an expensive entry level to come in and earn soulbound rewards cards. If SPS gets really, really high, they're going to have to quickly adjust how much you have to have staked to get anywhere. So it's going to be kind of crazy.
I'm trying to understand. Maybe you guys can say something about the 10x because I think that's what it means exactly.
Can we
Yeah, I mean,
please
Florian,
discuss the
yeah.
fact?
It's a good question. So Florian, I'll just read it. I mean, can we please discuss the fact that 10x does not mean to earn as before? It is possible to earn more than before with a much smaller multiplier. And I don't think we know that yet, Florian. The server's only been live for like, I don't know, 12 hours maybe. So we don't know if it's a 10x is the same earnings as before because more, the same players are playing or more people have dropped out. We'll not know until a couple days or maybe a week later to be able to compare earnings based on the SPS stake weighting to see if it's 10x is the number, 8x is the number, 5x is the number, 12x is the number. We don't know exactly how that's going to map.
But
But
when I'm saying it 10x is the same, I mean the same amount of reward points.
Yeah.
RP.
reward points is what Matt had said.
It's
before,
100%. Yeah.
Yes. So 10x is the same amount, Florian, of reward points. It might be better earnings overall as we go forward because everybody else is only earning 5x. So now I'm going to earn more SPS per battle because the amount that is being sucked up by the other accounts is less. So my payout goes up.
And that's when the pools actually equalize because at the moment they're not,
and it's
not
going to
showing.
take a couple weeks before before the pools and before also we got to give time for people to adjust, right? There might be some people who just finally pull the trigger and buy. I think After Sound said Darkest Night went and bought 50,000 SPS because he was short. And there are going to be some other players who didn't take it serious until they had to take it serious and want to earn it full. So some things are going to change when it comes to this. But I still stand by, look, when I started this game, you bought some cards. The cards were you staked. You played, you earned free cards that you could sell. You earned a token you could sell. There was no cap on how far you could get. You could get as far as you could get with any level of cards. And every single change to the game has made it harder to earn, harder to get further. They've put roadblocks in the way, and every time they've added any of those roadblocks, it wasn't because Steve was a good player who with level 4 cards could make it into champion. It was because bot farms with level 1 cards could make it to champion. And so they adjusted the game over and over and over again to try to slow those bots down, and now we don't earn the cards that we can sell. You can't just come in and buy a card and play the game and earn. You also have to buy a coin and stake it. And you have to hit very, very high staking goals to go ahead and play up into the additional league. So even if you are a good player who can take level 4s and get into champ, unless you are willing to make an extreme investment into a coin and stake it, you're not going to be earning those rewards of a champion player.
And first of all, the roadblocks
it's been a wild thing to watch, man.
Yeah, but the roadblocks they put along the way, they were all with one goal. It was to make the game sustainable in the long run.
But it's
so everything they did,
it only needs to be made sustainable because bots were attacking it.
For whatever reason, I said it could have not been bots. It could have been a huge guild coming into the game and using mechanics.
No, because real players always support the asset prices, so it protects the game. If 10,000 real people come into the game that are really buying cards, then
not buying
card
cards.
prices go up.
Not buying cards, renting cards.
Still, if 10,000 or 100,000 people need to rent the cards, there's not that many there to rent.
Okay, well then why the same problem is with the bots? They're still like if there are 100,000 of bots, there won't be enough cars to rent.
Because bots don't have any aspiration to get better. So they're willing to stay with level 3 cards. An average player who really joins a game to play it, they want to play at the highest level. They're going to try to level their cards up.
Some of them, yeah, some are gamers. Some
no, I think all of them want to. If you're a serious player, not all of them might be financially able to. I understand that at a certain point, it could become cost preventative where you go, you know what? I could level these up when it was, 14 to get to level 3 or when it was 40 to get to level 5. But now that it's 400 to get to level 10, that's a little bit outside of my wheelhouse. But it doesn't mean that player doesn't want a level 10 card. He just can't afford it. The bots don't want it. They want to play with the smallest stuff as they can.
Doesn't mean everybody that comes in the game is competitive and wants to get better. A lot of people at the time that they came, it was because of the huge hype and they were seeing incredible games and whatnot. A lot of people came and maybe stayed in the game just to earn. Just because for you, $5 might be nothing. For some people, it's a lot of money. So yeah, some people have the incentive to just do what bots do and take out their earnings. Because at the end of the day, when you have a limited amount of battles you can do, and that again, with the caveat that we're not talking about the win trading, which definitely should be dealt in a way. But aside from that, if you have a certain amount of battles you can do per day, or it's not even per day, because if you finish your 50, you can buy some energy, but if not, you have to wait 2 days to actually replenish them. So if you have a certain amount, like 25 battles a day, a lot of people can do 25 battles a day. They don't need to be bots, and they have the same restriction as the bots. So the only advantage at the moment they have is the algorithms they use to put best teams. I understand that's one thing. But that, as being their advantage, can be also their disadvantage. Because I think you were the one that said that when you were playing bots, you play them for a while and then you learn how they
Well,
play, and it was easy wins for
this
you.
was pre that was pre Archmage,
Yeah,
and pre
regardless.
Hexbot. So
Both
I
both
don't know
farms.
if I could do it again. I do
I
know
don't
if I
think
play now, I can start to win if I play long
if you
enough.
play long, if
Yeah.
you invest time to play and get some training, you can. Because I don't think the bot farms are using as complicated of a bot as
Yeah,
Archmage
but do
is.
remember, I have every single card for modern, just
Regardless,
about. That
regardless.
changes it though. That's why I can learn how to beat them, because I have all the cards. If you don't have all the cards, you can't necessarily learn how to beat them because you won't. And the Untamed is still in modern, and that's a big problem for some people. That's the thing that
I
sets me
understand.
apart from most modern players and why my account is a top 50 account in modern. It's because I have all the Untamed cards.
I understand, but people can watch a few videos because there are a lot of videos on YouTube about like people actually lower leagues. They can watch, they can see two, three cards that they need to rent to deal with the problem. The thing is, bots are predictable. They might be optimized, but they're predictable. And in almost all of the cases, there is a counter to everything. Like not 100% maybe, but if you can say with a certain degree of confidence, judging by if you see a bot play something that you've seen over and over again, you are sure that if that splinter is available and if it suits the rule set, you can count on the bot playing the same way, and it's easier for you to counter it. And I'm not making an argument that we should keep bots. I'm just saying that they are restrictive, but in a way, when you restrict them, how much they can play, because that's their only advantage is they can play nonstop. They can play 24/7. They don't need to sleep. They don't need to
No,
eat. That was
they have
their
other advantages. They never have a headache. They're never tired when they play.
okay. Yeah, sure.
They
Yeah,
know the
sure.
best. They know the best probable team to play for every single rule set. So
So
if
does
you
people that do spreadsheets.
mm, no, I don't think so. Even somebody with a spreadsheet, they know what works best for them when they play. They're not actually correlating all the battle data and know for sure that their best team
Well,
for
I don't know.
22 mana is the best team for 22 mana.
They were
These
top
bots
of the
know it.
league for a long time.
I know
Silver
there's
league.
some players that use
Silver league.
spreadsheets that were pretty dominant in silver, but
Yeah.
that's literally manually botting. But again, he was doing that pre Archmage and pre Xbot. Archmage and Xbot are bots on a new level with a new level of database sophistication. It's been proven by Archmage that they can get an account to number one on the leaderboard by giving an account all the cards and running their most aggressive algorithm. They've done it. I've talked to the guys. They've shown me that they've shown me the account and they can get it to be the best in the game. And they don't, they, when I was talking to them early on, there's reservations about even using their best hand making system on the bot because they know it would make it too hard for other people to beat it. And
Which yeah brings another topic. What we do with battle helpers? Like, how is that different than botting?
because it can't, the thing with battle helpers is it can't scale. So it is a problem, but it's not the same problem. So when we're
Okay, they
attacking
cannot scale
bots,
on one person, but again, you can bring a whole guild, uh, arm
yeah,
them,
but
arm them with battle helper.
still, I've told you, and I've said this before, one guy can run 500 bots, one guild of 30 real people using battle helpers. In my mind, you know the big difference? At least it's 30 freaking real people. Separate
Well,
people who are going to
if
take
they
those
have,
rewards, and I'm going to let them leech some out of the system. And I still don't like it. I still would like a way to prevent it. I just don't know how you prevent a third party site from being like, okay, it's a
exactly,
22
but
mana
that's my
match. What team
point.
is the best team for me to play? But it doesn't scale to be the problem of bots of like five people running 20K bot farms each to get us to 100K players, which
I don't
is
know. You remember when
a
Mango was
real
here
thing.
in our show? You
Who?
remember when Mango was here?
Yeah.
Remember how he said like there was a guy literally playing 5 phones at the same time?
So what? That's 5. It's not 10,000.
Oh, 5 people. Yeah, okay, but I mean 50
You're
people, that's
right.
two fifty.
I could probably battle helper and play ranked on about 3 accounts at once. Maybe, and somebody who's a lot more dedicated than me, younger than me, faster than me on their back and forth could probably do it on I'll give them 10. They can't do it on 20, 30, 40, 50 or
But
100.
if there are enough people, and if their only goal is to take out of the game, which is the bot's goal, then how
Dude,
are they different?
on Splinter Mate, I could go in there and spin up 50 bots for $50, 100
Okay,
bots for $100,
I understand.
and they'll run a great ag and they're not even one of the best bots, but they'll do just fine if I give them if I put, and I don't have to buy any cards because they have an automated rental system.
I
So
understand, but then again, I'm just saying, like, what is the difference? I do understand that you can do that, but as I said,
That's
yeah,
the different. It doesn't scale. You can't. It doesn't ruin the game because real people have to be behind the accounts that are using the battle helper, and real people have different motivations than somebody who's here with a bot farm.
well, okay, yeah.
Even if Mango Mayhem has a guild of 30 people using battle helper, he also told us that the people that he's playing with are reinvesting into the
Oh,
game
yeah, yeah. No, I'm
with
not.
what
I
they're
wasn't
winning.
giving.
That
Yeah,
is why it's different.
I wasn't giving it as example as that their motives are the same as the bot farms. I was just giving it as examples that it's possible for one person to play 5 accounts at the same time. And when you have a group of, let's say, like a guild of 500 people, like these huge guilds that are supposedly there are negotiation guilds coming and whatnot. A guild from 500 people, everybody playing 5 accounts each.
Well,
That's
you know what?
$2,500.
That would be very abnormal. So you're getting to the point of very hypothetical now.
Yeah, I'm
It is
getting,
not
yeah,
hypothetical that you can go and press a
exactly.
couple buttons and run 10,000 bots on Splinter Meat. It's not.
I'm on purpose being over exaggerating things
Yeah, but my point
just to
is
give it
that
a just to
you're
make a point.
trying to do that to create an equivalence between them, but there's not because one of these things is imaginary and one of them is a few clicks of a button.
But regardless, their end point is what I meant. Like if if enough people have the same end goal as a bot farm
But
and
people
they're not
don't.
restricted.
Bot farms are meant to earn and pull out. There's no way that all of those players want to just earn and pull out.
I said enough, Stevie. If enough people are with the same mindset coming into the game as the bot farm owners are, like they are, I want to extract from this
Then
game.
there isn't enough cards. There isn't. There isn't enough cards
Again, not
for
the
a
point.
real amount of of real players.
Again, not the point, Steve. I'm just saying that it's hard to differentiate between those because their end goal is the same. Their ability to go to their end goal is the same. They have the same limited number of battles they can do. And now here comes the win trading, which I totally agree with Teos, who was terribly silent for a long time because we don't give him the chance to talk. But I agree about the win trading. It's just something that needs to be forcefully dealt with 100%. They should find a way. It just, when I was saying that, I was thinking like, yeah, they found a way to go around the whole mechanic the team had put in place before, that when two teams play and one does not submit team, they put them in separate pools and they never meet each other again, ever again. So they kind of went through over that by starting to play one BCX cards. But they can evolve that to a point where they can still play a full team with the whole intention to lose. So even that is kind of hard to curb, and that's not a justification. I'm just hoping and praying the whole SPS taking thing will make it not profitable anymore, even to do that. Because if you're earning almost no reward shares for your 25 win trades that you do, maybe at least it will be some sort of a solution, because short of that, I don't really know how can they, like, as you said, now they're very easily detectable because they're not hiding. They're not forced into hiding. Once they're forced into hiding, they will try to find
That
ways
you can't
to
hide.
go around that.
You can't hide the level of win trading they're doing. You can't. Tails
Well,
very clearly showed
you
us you had an
can,
account win 20
yeah,
games in a row, dude.
yeah,
Probably more.
you cannot, because they're not into hiding. They're playing 1b6 cards. I told you, just the same as they're playing
No,
1b6 cards.
the RNG of the game, you're not going to win 100% if both teams are submitting real teams. It's going to be really obvious if somebody's winning every single one of their games
And they can
against
drop them to
mediocre teams.
80% win 80% winning. They can
Well,
drop it to
yeah,
that,
okay,
for
well,
example.
at least that's a better world. We forced ourselves into a place where he doesn't get to win every one of his games.
Well, yeah,
So
I think winning now
Wait, let Tails go for a
everyone.
minute.
I think
yeah,
I think winning now 80 winning now every game as compared to winning 80% of the game before SPS taking. I think I'll take winning every game now for the time being, just because there is a measurement in place. Hopefully, I'm hoping it will help. Yes, Tel, we listen. We're listening to you. You can go now on a half an hour streak.
no, I don't need that much. I just need like a minute. So basically, one of the comments coming out of Splinterfest last year was, you know, the game should, if you were to ask, do you want more or less? The game should always be asking you to, or wanting you to answer, I want more, right? The decisions that have been made recently, let's say over the last year, do we have more content creators or less? Do we have more community leaders or less? Look across the content from 12 months ago, compare it today. Who's left standing? Look at the town halls. Who's commenting in the town halls? Do you notice and you look around, you see people that aren't here anymore? There's a reason for that. And the reason are some of the decisions that have been made. It's not just a bear market. You can't just blame a bear market to say, oh, crypto's down, so people are doing other things. I would argue that, excuse me, decisions have been made that have negatively impacted the players so much that the most, I would say, enthusiastic, positive, and trusted customers are no longer here or no longer talking about this game. There's your answer, baby. Whether you like it or not, whether you like to argue about you could get struck by lightning here, and this makes it a chance or real, that's fine. I'm just saying the tea leaves are such where things are coming to fruition, which is good. SPS staking went live today. That's good. Land 1.5 is coming soon. That's good. GLG is coming soon. That's good. Soulkeep is coming soon. That's good. These are all good things. I agree. I'm just saying that mistakes have been made and the results are showing in things like content creators and community leaders. I want to also call your attention to one other piece of data that I think is going to be very interesting for you. Now, Steve, you brought up that Darkest Night today bought 50,000 SPS because of the SPS staking rewards. And I love Darkest Night, and I talk to him frequently, and he's such a cool dude and a great ambassador of Splinterlands. But I'm just going to use his $50,000 or 50,000 SPS as a mathematical example here for us. Darkest Night plays in Champ 1, right? Champ 2, Champ 1. And he bought 50,000 SPS to help his reward share. 50,000 SPS at a price of SPS at 0.018 is $900 US is what he spent today, right? He's still playing in Champ 1 or Champ 2. But going back to our point before, what is he earning in Champ 1 or Champ 2 that he can actually sell? SPS is all that he's earning, right? So if he were to try and recoup his $900 investment in SPS today, he would basically, if he's winning 10 SPS per match in Champ 1, he would have to win 5,000 battles just to break even on his $900 investment today. Just call it an interest-free loan to Splinterlands that he just gave, right? You have to win 5,000 battles just to get his money back that he just spent today. And if he's playing 25 battles a day and he has, let's say, a 50% win rate, it's going to take him over 416 days for him to make that $900 back, right? So he just gave Splinterlands a $900 interest-free loan for basically over a year. So this is the problem that we have with SPS staking for new players. If Splinterlands, like Darkest Night, who plays a Champ 1, the highest level of the game, he's not earnings any bear any, assuming is the same. Just I know an assumption here we have to use for this basic example, but it's still, it's still paying up front just to try and hope you get back sometime in the future. And this is the highest level of the game. You can only imagine what it's like at the lower levels.
We do ignore the soulbound cards, right? Because at the moment they're not tradable, so they don't have any value, right?
But and they're going to require an investment to sell.
Yeah,
we know that.
And that, of course, that investment will be priced in their price when they hit the market. So, I mean, yeah, whoever is putting the investment to unbound them, for sure won't be selling them for the same price that he paid to unbound them. And they're good cards, actually, which you might not believe, but I think they will be sought after, even when the new wave of players are coming. So they will have some value. Like, you have to agree with that nobody will sell it for the amount of DEC they burned to get them unbound in the first place. And it will be limited as well, because people will still
you say that, but it's not necessarily true. But I mostly agree. But if no one's buying them and you've already minted it, you might take a $10 loss just because what else are you going to do with it?
Do you think that's possible?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, no. Okay,
For
possible.
sure.
Everything is possible. Do you think that's likely?
No. I have a feeling they should go for about 5 to 10% more than mint price.
At least, yeah. And just because I don't want to forget on the point that Theo was making earlier, that same thing that you're explaining, Theo, was happening 4 years ago as well. People were leaving because they were only earning pennies. And then I have the chance to speak with some of the people that have left and then were trying to get back, crying, oh, why did I leave at that point? So, yeah, people will be leaving for whatever reasons. And when things are not going perfectly well, yeah, some people have less of a patience. Some people feel like they can take some of the loss and they invest in something that might probably bring them more profit, whatever it is. But I also know people who have regretted that they left when they did 3-4 years ago. So there's no guarantee that now people that are leaving are not coming back in 2 years, banging their heads. Why the hell did I leave at that point? Why didn't I just keep my asset, stop playing the game if it wasn't giving me any pleasure, and just come revisit it 2 years later?
No, I agree, baby. I mean, I'm here with you today. We're still playing the game and we're doing the thing. So I agree that they could have, that reaction in the future. I'm just using it as a case in point to show you the sentiment around the game, because it seems like you think that everything is perfect in the game. And I'm thinking that a lot of people would disagree with that sentiment.
No, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I know that purely my opinion, from what I see, team is doing their best to do the best they can for the game and the community. I rarely see them putting themselves, if ever, in front of the community. As they were saying, for quite some times, they haven't had any income and they're trying to get things. I know they're also players, they're also part of the community. So if we enrich ourselves, they're getting even richer because they have more assets than us and whatnot. But the point is, they're not looking necessarily for the interest of the company at the first place, but it's very important for them to put the game into a place where it's sustainable and to do it with whatever resources they have available at the moment. Because if they have more resources later time, they have more money and they have more people, maybe they'll be able to do 4 big projects at the same time on half the time that they needed to be done. But at the moment, it is what they have, and they're trying to do the best because you can never please everybody. If they focus on one aspect, people that want other aspect out will be like, "Why are you doing like? Why you stop working on land and trying to get some stuff for new players? How I've been so long in the game, you're prioritizing new players, and what about me? Why you are neglecting me, for example?" Or the other, like, why you always do everything for the whales? Like, when you're going to do something from the small fish or whatever. So no matter what you do, there will always be people that are unhappy because it doesn't necessarily benefit them personally. But at the end of the day, they're trying to go around things that they have promised and they've been way backed on, and that a big, which is what is the bottleneck at the moment. And I think everybody knows it because I see still comments like, when they're going to fix mobile, when they're going to make the UX UI better. Those are questions asked over and over again, and they always had the same answer. It will happen once tech modernization is done because we don't want to do double or triple job. And still, every after 2 weeks, like, what happened with mobile? Why we're not getting mobile updates? Like, why it's not mobile better? It's and that brings to a point where people get frustrated. Like, if you as a game are not doing what I want you to do, if I don't like what you do according to my point of view, well, yeah, then screw you. I'm going somewhere else, right? I mean, but that necessarily doesn't mean that that's how the whole. When you zoom out, that's how the whole picture looks.
you
Sorry.
you know, I wish I could be as positive as you. I wish I could give the team as much credit as you. The plain fact of the matter is, I think you're missing an overall part of our argument, is that the team isn't doing everything they can do to protect their own game because they're not taking a stance that the botting is clearly not okay. They're not making a very clear statement that win trading won't be allowed and there will be a punishment. They are being vague and wish-washy on that, and we have a bot in the chat fighting with Aaron because he's defending his right to bot. And I have to stand by him right now because Matt clearly said in the town hall again today, we are agnostic and we want bots here. Now, we're trying a bot ban in modern, but that's the only place we're doing it. Other than that, we want bots everywhere. And while he has that attitude, Tails and I are of the opinion that they've had to do things that didn't bring people to the game, but drove people away from the game. Now, at the same time, I believe Matt is a genius when it comes to the SPS flywheel. I actually think that regardless of the fact that bots are stealing a whole bunch of money from our ecosystem, that wheel can work, that it can in a raging bull market push SPS up to $3, $4, even $5. I'm going to be super bully here. And the sad thing is, I think that the amount of regular old people that are going to get uplifted by this is not that many. And we're here, and it's going to kind of work out for us. But my complaint about how much we've embraced the bots is it's made it so much harder for us to embrace regular people. That's the big difference in my mind. And no matter what, when you say that those 30 or 40 or 50 guys using battle helpers to win are kind of like bots too, I just disagree because those are 30 or 40 or 50 people. They're people. And I do think we're on a ship that's about to explode. And I want to get more people on it because I mean, I don't think there's that many people here.
So intention doesn't matter, right? Just because they eat and they sleep and that just because they have the same intention as the bot farm owners, it's a totally different thing, right? We give them the benefit of the doubt because they're from flesh and bones, right? I mean, I understand, but it's also a little biased. And again, it sounds that I hate it. I hate it because it sounds like I'm wanting the bots in the game. I'm super defending the bots and
I
whatnot.
guarantee
I'm
you,
defending the team.
Bot
I'm
Bot has
defending.
said that you have it right every time. He's right on your side. Mr. Bot Bot over there who's defending his right to run bot farms, dude, he's loving you.
No, but that's not the point. I'm not defending the bots. I'm defending the team in their decision, like how I understand it, what I hear and how I translate it. I agree that they're trying to hit the problem in a way they would not have to play whack-a-mole. That's my only point. I'm just
Yeah,
thinking
you
that
know
they're
what?
focusing,
Right now, the way
they're
that
not
they treated
ignoring
it
it.
to me, it looks like they are ignoring it. But to placate me and Tails and the guys that really don't like it, they're going to give us one area where we can play without bots. And the reason that they're doing this kind of in a wishy-washy way is because they're hoping the bot people just will go playing wild and keep winning brawls with battle helpers or just straight bots and tournaments, so that because that's where most of their money is made anyways. And we can have modern to ourselves, the people that want to play the game legitimately against real players in a competitive way and see if it works. And when we don't have enough people playing for match liquidity, I'm guessing this is still the play I see. They're going to be just go like, well, we tried it and it didn't work. And I still stand by at I won't play the game then. I kind of don't play the game now because of how bad botting is. I'm still in the ecosystem. I still cover
Exactly.
things. I still like doing it because I still see a future for these assets, but I don't play the
You
game.
don't have to play, you have to just stay because as I said, yeah, I've been through periods of my Splinterland journey when I was very bored from the game, and that was a little bit before the whole boom. So I missed on a big opportunity with Untamed because at that point I was so tired of the game that I stopped playing for a couple of months, and then that's when things exploded. But thankfully, I was long enough in the game, so at least I get some benefits from it. But my point is, yeah, I reached to the point where I didn't want to play anymore. It was just a grind. It was like fighting for silver leaderboards with doing 15 wins and then one loss from RNG and whatnot brings you right back where you started. So you have to start grinding again. I didn't want to do that anymore. So I was like, okay, I'll just stop playing it for a while. And then when I saw things like then the SPS came out and things started booming, I revisited the game and I was like, oh, okay.
I
I mean, I dig it now.
I will admit that if I look at this game, instead of saying how do I get new players here, and think how do I get investors here that will run bots, I can actually make a pretty compelling argument. Like I told you, I think we're close to the flywheel starting to fly. I think we're close to the farms here becoming very competitive in the decentralized finance farming game. I think absolutely the buying a coin to stake it and then run a bot that rents really cheap cards to make you an asset that's going up. It's something that I can pitch to crypto investors, Deegan investors, but it's not something I can pitch to a game player anymore. And maybe we're all fine with that. Maybe we're just like, you know what? Let's get investors and bot runners, and we can just be an investor class of bot people who make a lot of money once we make the flywheel happen and SPS goes to the moon because it's just getting arbitrage to all hell because we have a bunch of investors here who still need to rent cards, so they still need to get DEC to do it. I mean, maybe that's the side I have to learn to embrace because I just don't like it. I wanted this to be a game where real players could come and play and we could be competitive and we could have Splinterfest. I mean, at least Splinter Island doesn't have to be that big, I guess, because there's just
Well,
going to
but
be
you
a
don't
bunch
know
of bot
because
runners that go there.
but see, wait, we have to defend ourselves, man. We are under heavy fire. But you said my defender saying, yeah, funny. Thing is, the three speakers up there all bot. LOL. So why you here with us criminals?
Yeah,
Mm.
he's talking to Aaron because him and Aaron are fighting whether or not botting is good. And I don't want to get too involved in their chat fight, but that's where that
Well,
comment
that's
is coming
that's
from.
that's directly against us, and I must say that yeah, I see myself different than the both farmers.
I
That's
don't.
I
As
do.
soon as I started using it, I saw that I had just given up. I was like, you know what? In general, unless I'm playing at the top of my game, spending hours researching teams, um, watching replays of all of my losses, using a tool to go and check it, like putting hours into the game every day, I
Splinter
can't play as
coach.
good. I can't play as good as Archmage, or I have to use a battle helper and then spend money to get wins. And the money, I've looked into the Xbot one, it's not really profitable in ranked. It works for brawls because you're trying to win a brawl to get a big merit payout, or it works for tournaments because tournaments have big rewards, but it doesn't really work. The cost per battle in ranked, I don't think it's feasible to do that, and you'd be losing more than you're actually earning in the win, at least
Oh
at
no, the
current
whole idea
values.
was if
So
battle helpers is allowed, somebody will come with more competitive pricing or whatnot. Like once bots are taken out of the picture and battle helpers are not,
well, I mean, you can say
somebody will
that,
come with
but
something better.
unless you can name me one, you're just theorizing. The one that I know that is out there that most people turn to, it's too expensive to use to win a ranked battle, even in champion,
Yeah, because at the
on a
moment people
consistent
because at
things.
the moment people can count on Splinter Mate, Archmage, and Xbot to bot their account, but when they don't, and there is actually demand for those battle helpers, obviously there will be competition, as it was with the bots, and cheaper ones will come out, and yeah, when there is competition, there is prices go down. But my point is, if it's made like, okay, we ban bots, but battle helpers are okay. I'm also not
No,
okay with
I
that.
never said they were okay. I just don't know how you stop them. I know how you can stop the bots that are currently in the game. It's not hard at all. Then we'll get more advanced bots and we'll have to learn how to stop those ones. I don't know how you stop a battle helper because
I don't either.
it's technically another website where you go, this is the rules, this is the mana cap, these are the available teams, tell me the best options. And since that's a separate website, I don't see how Splinterlands can stop it. So I'm not
Neither.
so idealistic that I'm going to waste time on something I know they can't stop. Battle helpers is a different thing. I'm just not going to focus on it because I don't think it scales to the same problem as massive bot farming. And I also would say that at least the way that I've seen it done, it still takes a little bit of skill to use. And depending on the pricing, it's not necessarily profitable unless the game is doing really well. So these are the reasons why it's not a top priority for me.
Well, I don't know what to say. At least some of the bots like Archmage had morals to not go to pros and tournaments.
Yeah. I don't know, Tails, you want to say anything?
He fall asleep. We're
No,
talking too
no. I
much.
mean, I don't. I mean, I think I presented my points, and I don't think Bebe's going to change his mind. So we'll just have to agree to disagree.
Oh yeah, I'm totally fine with agreeing to disagree, and it's not about, yeah. Sorry if it sounded like I'm trying to convince you guys. I just got passionate. Sorry, yeah. When I talk about stuff,
Yeah,
and
and
when I
like
hear all the crap that the team has to take from all sides, I kind of feel bad for them because, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm thinking that they're doing the best they can with the resources they have. But that's my personal opinion. Of course, nobody has to agree with me, but I just get
yeah,
passionate when I hear people attacking them left and right.
I have to go after him a little bit because they've just made major mistakes, and
Oh,
they've
that's
admitted to
okay. I
some of
mean,
them.
that's
And
your
and
priority, and we
the
can
thing
we
is, they
disagree.
don't they haven't owned up to fixing those mistakes. Instead, they've asked us to fix them. Every time they do something and they introduce something that they underestimate or they print too many of or they give too much importance to, it's the community that has to come in to save the day. We have to spend more and more and more and more to try and get rid of they printed too much DEC forever because it was fun, but now there's too much DEC in the ecosystem for the flywheel to work. They minted too many Chaos Legion packs because, well, they had the bots tricking them into thinking there was that much demand in the ecosystem, and there just wasn't. They even printed apparently too much Riftwatcher packs because we're sitting there with 2 million left. And so now we have to play games where we have to price them into DEC instead of SPS so that they can have that built-in arbitrage where they become kind of a backstop for DEC the way the old packs used to be, because if DEC gets to a big enough discount, it becomes profitable to buy a big bulk amount of DEC, buy a big bulk amount of Rift Watchers, rip them open and sell the cards on the market. Doesn't quite work because Rift Watcher cards are worth so little right now, and DEC is not dramatically under peg. It's up in the 80s. But if it gets down to like 60s, that becomes a real play. So that is now our new backstop protecting it. And the point is that they've had to change so much to keep their game competitive with the bots and not let them keep us kind of competitive with them. And they've still, never just come out and bit the bullet and said, okay, we're going to stop the bots so we don't have to do this to you anymore. Or, they didn't really embrace the Bulldog proposal to go ahead and use those funds to, like Tails said, support our own ecosystem and hold our own stable coin instead of holding other people's stable coins.
Yeah, I'll just add, Steve,
that's got nothing to do with the team.
That's So Aggro actually supported 100%. So he voted.
Yeah, I know he did.
He voted. Cryptomancer voted. Nate voted. So the team did, on their personal accounts, vote for that proposal.
Aside from Biz.
Yeah, aside from Biz, and Matt abstained from voting. But yeah, I mean, I think yeah, tinfoil hat. Yeah, I mean that's probably separate. But
aside from Biz.
All right, I'll admit I do admit their votes were there, but did Aggie vote with both of his accounts?
All four: Tender Shepherd,
okay.
Small P, Aggroed, and
okay. So I'll give them a pass on that one, but they didn't get it passed. I feel like
they're guilty again.
I feel like certain things, when they've wanted to get them passed, they've found a way. Like Aggie has cried in Mav chat and called people out. Was he doing that too?
Well, Matt was doing it for the Rift Watchers.
Yeah, I know he was. But Rift Watchers passed kind of easily this time around, the second time, right?
Because Matt spent the time.
Yeah, it was just because it was enough time. The only reason I voted no and everyone before is because it was like 1 month after the set came out.
It was one Vuktis vote away, believe me. Because Azercon said he will vote however Vuktis votes. And yeah, a lot of people could have followed.
Which is kind of interesting, that whole comment, because I saw that in Mav chat as well. I don't know. I mean, that seems like a weird thing to say. I mean, I guess Azercon doesn't want to research it or think for himself, but has definitely voiced his opinion on many other things over the course.
Or maybe they had some sort of, because that proposal was up before as well, so maybe they were having discussion on it before and they reached to some agreement, and then he was like, okay, based on that conversation, I'm going to vote the same way Vuktis does. So Matt actually had to go and convince Vuktis to not vote against the Rift Watcher Pact. And if he did vote against it, it wouldn't have passed.
Well, I guess my point, baby, is that Azercon said the same thing for Bulldog's proposal as well.
Oh,
so,
okay. Well, then
I mean, if Azercon's just going to vote every time the way Vuktis votes, I mean, that's his prerogative. He can do that. It's his SPS. It just seems counterintuitive to how he presents himself in Mav chat as a champion of the people and having an opinion, if his only opinion is just to be a lemming and a lapdog of Vuktis. But so, I mean,
instead of asking the team, they should ask Vuktis if they need to put their proposal in or not. Because that's
like, kind of funny.
That's right. There's like 15 million SPS around.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know. Oh, I see what he's saying. I'm sorry. The chat has kind of gone off the
Yeah, I'm
rails
just.
over there.
What is the link
They're
between
having their
San
own
Francisco and
argument,
Spain?
and you know, and Aaron is very passionate that you should not be botting. I'm not. I'm
But
sure I missed some of it, so I don't even want to comment on it. I'd have to read the whole thing to make sure. And it's getting very
but
late,
how's
so
San
we
Francisco
have
and
to
Spain
wrap this up. And we went
in the
off the
same
rails and didn't really
conversation?
cover the town hall.
Well, I did
But
warn you. I asked you if you have time.
well, I didn't want to get that into it. But then you said let's get Tails on to go into the tin hat thing, and that's where
Which was not
things
the
went
same thing.
wild.
It wasn't the bot thing.
No, but then we got into words with wizards. That it's Matt's fault. He brought up the bots by saying
Okay,
that he was
bring
agnostic
him,
to them
bring
at
him
the
to the
same time
stage.
as saying he was going to ban them from modern. It was a really weird statement.
Bring him to the stakes.
But Lamb 2.0, guys, what do you think of 50 resources, crazy
Can't wait.
liquidity, having to refine things? Bullish or
Can't,
too much?
yeah, can't wait, man.
Tails?
Yeah, I mean, new game modes are good. I think I mean, with land surfing, it should be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. And Matt's putting a lot of effort into it, and he's says the paper and the document's already a lot bigger than 1.5, which you'd expect. So I think it's the biggest question is for a lot of us is going to be
When?
those three letters, WEN.
I don't want to bring a lot of money into the game, Tails, but I need so much more DEC.
Me too.
Like
Me
if I'm
too.
going to take land serious, I need like I probably need like 20 million.
I'm sure people in chat will be like,
And
"Oh, I wish I had his problems."
yeah, you know what? Shush you. I'm not the biggest whale in the world. $20,000 worth of DEC would be a lot to me to put into this game at this point. While they
Yeah.
say they have 1 year left of their current funding, so that's why it's a gamble.
I was
The,
listening today to Jeff Opens Cards telling his journey in crypto until his Splinterland's coming and what the figures that I was listening to, I was like, okay. Um,
Yeah. He's on a whole nother level compared to me. I buy thousands of packs. He buys tens of thousands of
yes.
packs.
yeah.
156,000 in the game alone just the past 6 months. $156,000.
Yeah. Well, when you have cats instead of kids, if I didn't have a family, I'd be a bigger whale with my current job. But my money goes to I'm not even allowed to touch my real money
So I don't have so I don't even have excuse.
that I make. That the wife gets that paycheck and I get what I have in crypto. But Tails, we might get some Celsius money back soon. Did you
That
see
would be
that?
awesome. I could buy some DEC then.
They're saying we're going to get back about 37% in crypto and then 37% in stock, and we're out about 28% of our money.
It's better than it was earlier this year. So,
Yep.
we'll take it. And going back to your other comment there, Steve, with land, it's kind of interesting. It's I have the same dilemma as well, which that Celsius news might be good news. But with the land, it's kind of like buying a new car and then you go to fill it up and you're like, oh, I don't have any money for gas because to drive the car that you just bought that you want to enjoy, you gotta buy the gas, and the gas is taking that DEC. Unfortunately, it's kind of one of the things where my dilemma is, I'm like, well, I got the land. If I don't put the DEC into it, then why did I buy the land? So I'm kind of caught, right?
Land surfing is actually making me not as stressed out about it though.
Yeah, I just think there's going to be so much land available though that
yeah, but I'm hoping they want to work Tails' land and Steve's land. We got to go on a a working. We'll do videos. Come work our land. You can hang out with us. I'll delegate you some cards. No, I don't know. come. I need 25 plots. I need 25 plots, guys. Come and work these 25.
Yeah, I give you 10% cash back. I give you 15% cash back.
The problem is it's that they said that they're going to make every liquidity pool with DEC. So if I'm going to want to play the liquidity pool game because I think that's going to be where some of the best earnings are for somebody that can produce a decent amount of
Not enough
resources.
DEC, man. Not enough DEC.
I know there's not enough DEC, and it's very annoying. This is
No, I
why
mean
the DAO
circulation.
needs to hire me and give me all that money because I need to buy DE. I'll take all 50K and buy DEC with it.
So I will give you a preview, Steve. There's going to be a video on my channel probably in the next day or two, as soon as I have time to record it, talking about DEC, and you'll probably want to watch it.
Oh, I know there's not enough. Don't tell everyone.
I don't know. It's no. Wait, just wait.
Because they don't know.
Is it unless your video is going to be that I can get it cheaper than I think, man, I almost don't want it to come out because I think you're going to make it harder for me to get what I want.
No. It's neither of those, but it is interesting.
Yeah, Max Mucka showed up. We've been here 3 hours because Tails came in and we went down a lot of rabbit holes and I could already see the complaints in the comments now. Oh, you talked about bots again. You because the community just doesn't want to hear it anymore. It's kind of funny.
That's the most important.
It was a fun stream, but it is 11 o'clock. I got to go. I know it's later for you guys where you're at, I think.
No, I'm in Orange County, man.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I forgot you're local to me, but I have to go to bed. I have to get up to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I have to go 3 o'clock in the morning. So,
but this was definitely fun. Tails, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks,
thanks for bringing me on. Appreciate it. It's good chat.
It was a fun chat. I think we're gonna wrap things up, everybody. So I'm gonna end the stream.
Thank you guys for being here.
I know I ended that kind of quick, but I gotta stop this or we won't stop.